Chapter 961. Zhu Yongjia's expression was very interesting. Zhu Yinsai's temper wasn't good. Su Yan was blatantly ignoring her, so she would definitely ask Zhu Yinkai to teach him a lesson. Indeed, Su Yan's action made Zhu Yinsai's expression change. She stretched out her trembling finger and pointed at Su Yan. She was so angry that she couldn't say a word. She was the Divine King. If she didn't take a seat in this resting hall, who would dare to be the first to sit down? This is outrageous. Zhu Yinsai's aura leaked out, and the Divine King's aura surged, causing the entire resting hall to tremble. This was the activation of the Divine King's force field. It covered the entire resting hall, and its powerful aura was self-evident. "Junior, you are so rude." Zhu Yinsai's furious voice exploded like thunder, shaking the heaven and earth. The chair in front of the prehistoric Big Brother was about to be destroyed. Moreover, Zhu Yinkai released a powerful force field to force the prehistoric Big Brother back. The heavenly bamboo lineage is indeed the heavenly bamboo lineage. Su Yan sighed in his heart. The heavenly bamboo lineage was used to being tyrannical. As the overlord of the Chaos Ruins, even the life-forbidden zone couldn't threaten them. Zhu Yinkai didn't care about Su Yan's identity. In short, Su Yan ignored Zhu Yinkai, which made this old woman angry. However, no matter how vast Zhu Yinsai's energy was, when it rushed toward the prehistoric Big Brother, it was like a clay ox entering the sea. There wasn't even a trace of energy ripple. "Who are you?" Zhu Yinsai's expression darkened. Her cold eyes looked at this tall man, and her expression was uncertain. This bronze-skinned man was so strong that even a mighty divine king like her could not shake him. Zhu Yinkai was on high alert. She stared at this man with messy hair with hostility. "You old thing, you start a fight just because you don't agree with me. How dare you say I am rude? Who is the rude one here? Don't you know?" Su Yan glanced at Zhu Yinkai and coldly shouted, "Junior, you are too presumptuous." Zhu Yinkai was enraged. Her whole body was rippling with the Divine King's airflow, covering the sky and covering the earth. This scene made Su Yan's heart turn cold. This Su Yinkai was really blind. She dared to use force in front of Big Brother Prehistoric. Wasn't she digging her own grave? Who? A beam of the Divine King's power swept over, seething with radiance and also releasing an immense pressure. However, just as it was about to reach Su Yan, the prehistoric Big Brother swung his sleeve and struck out at this beam of Divine King's power. It seemed like a very casual movement, but in fact, the sleeve of the prehistoric Big Brother seemed to contain the universe of stars. The Divine King's energy instantly disappeared without a trace. Even the entire lounge was silent. Not a single sound was left. The Divine King's domain no longer existed. It had been completely neutralized. Zhu Yongjia was in a daze. He couldn't believe the scene in front of him. This old expert was a little scary. He had neutralized Zhu Yinsai's energy attack with just a swing of his sleeve. It seemed a little abnormal. From the beginning to the end, the prehistoric Big Brother was calm. No one knew how strong he was. Even Su Yan didn't know. "Who the hell are you?" Zhu Yinsai's expression finally began to change. She was bewildered as she stared at the prehistoric Big Brother. She couldn't see through this person's identity. However, for an expert to be able to neutralize her attack so easily, his cultivation must be extremely high. "You!" Zhu Yinkai gritted her teeth. Su Yan was treating her like air. The prehistoric Big Brother was even better. He didn't even look at her. He was treating her as if she didn't exist. Bastard! At this moment, Zhu Yinkai couldn't suppress the anger in her heart. Vaguely, waves and waves of vast divine might emerged from her body. It made everyone tremble. Even someone as strong as Zhu Yongjia had to kneel on the ground. This divine might suppressed one's soul. Moreover, Zhu Yinsai's body was spewing out the light of order. Her body seemed to be hiding a killing weapon. Once it was used, it would definitely be a shocking attack. Great Path Divine Weapon. Su Yan's eyes suddenly narrowed. No wonder Zhu Yinkai was so confident. She had been secretly controlling the Great Path Divine Weapon. Of course, Zhu Yinkai didn't dare to use the Great Path Divine Weapon. This was the city of the Great Path, and they were even in the Great Path auction house. However, even if this Great Path Divine Weapon was slightly awakened, it was enough to deter all strong enemies. 1. The entire lounge started to shake on its own. Strands of light of order sealed the lounge. Zhu Yinsai's cold eyes looked at the prehistoric big brother. She sneered and said, "Can you speak now?" Su Yan replied calmly, "Prick up your ears and listen carefully. We are strong cultivators from the Big Dipper bloodline. Are you satisfied with this answer? Bastard, a little Hokuto dares to ignore the Sky Bamboo bloodline. Wait until I suppress you, then I will deal with this old man." Zhu Yinsai's expression was cold. How could she not know about the Hokuto? What right did a declining clan have to ignore the strong cultivators from the Sky Bamboo bloodline? Even when the clan was at its peak, there was still a gap between them and the Sky Bamboo bloodline. Zhu Yinsai's body was covered in the light of order. She was secretly activating a saint weapon of a great being. The Great Path saint power that was as vast as the ocean surged and overturned the sky. It contained the supreme power that could suppress the universe. What a Great Path divine weapon! Facing such divine power, Su Yan felt as if his body and soul were being destroyed. He felt as if the sea had evaporated and the sun, moon, and stars had sunk. The Great Path divine weapon's attack covered a corner of the universe. It was enough to suppress all enemies in the world. Even if Su Yan did not fear any strong cultivators below the Divine King, he would be destroyed in one move by the Great Path divine weapon. Be careful. Bamboo Moon's expression changed. She did not expect Zhu Yinkai to use the Great Path divine weapon. This was the Great Path auction house. If the Tao Temple intervened, Zhu Yinkai would definitely be in trouble. In fact, when Zhu Yinkai used her martial arts, the King Kongpa and the others already knew that something had happened in the lounge. However, they did not step out to stop it. What a joke! The powerful cultivators were entrenched here. There was no need for them to intervene. In short, the side that attacked would definitely suffer a great loss. Bam! Just as the blurry light of the Great Tao's sacred weapon was about to strike Su Yan's body, it was blocked by a large bronze hand that stretched out from a distance. This bronze hand was like an indestructible bronze seal. It was as heavy as the abyss. It caused the power of the Great Path divine weapon that Zhu Yinkai had used to collapse and explode into ashes. What? Zhu Yongjia trembled. Someone blocked the power of the Great Path divine weapon with their bare hands? This person was at least a half-step Great Path divine weapon. Oh no! Zhu Yinsai's scalp went numb. Although she had only slightly awakened the mighty figure's sacred weapon, it was very likely that the person who could borrow the power of a mighty figure's sacred weapon was a mighty figure. No matter how weak the opponent was, it was a half-step mighty figure with extraordinary means. Zhu Yinkai panicked. She did not dare to stay here any longer. She took Zhu Yongjia and wanted to escape. However, this bronze hand was directly reaching for them. Su Yan was not surprised. The prehistoric big brother was not made of mud. Zhu Yinsai's repeated provocations had already angered him. The prehistoric big brother's hand was huge. In the eyes of Zhu Yinkai and the others, this hand seemed to have crossed the vast starry sky, passed through the chaos, and arrived in this world. It was right in front of them. Zhu Yinsai's legs turned to jelly. Her entire body trembled, and her hair stood on end. In front of the giant hand, she felt extremely small. She was even less than an ant. She could collapse at any time. This made Zhu Yinkai want to cry. What kind of expert had they provoked? She, the Divine King, could not withstand the power of the prehistoric big brother's palm. "Senior, please have mercy." Zhu Yongjia's legs trembled. His legs turned to jelly, and he fell straight to the ground. What kind of expert was this? Even the protective seal between Zhu Yongjia's eyebrows did not have the qualifications to be awakened. All resistance was suppressed and dimmed, losing the power that it should have. The prehistoric Big Brother's palm was terrifying beyond compare. It could easily crush the Divine King to death. Big Brother, don't kill them. Just teach them a lesson. Su Yan spoke. If Zhu Yinkai and Zhu Yongjia died, Bamboo Moon would not be able to stay in the Sky Bamboo lineage. After all, these two had extremely high statuses in the Sky Bamboo lineage. Once they died, the Sky Bamboo lineage would go crazy. This sentence made Zhu Yongjia and Zhu Yinkai almost cry. They really felt that the prehistoric Big Brother could kill them as easily as killing 2 ants. Although the prehistoric Big Brother would not kill them, he would still give them an unforgettable lesson. No! Zhu Yinkai screamed. This was because the sacred weapon floating in her body was vibrating on its own. Following that, it began to leave her body uncontrollably. This was a sparkling and translucent war flag that spewed out 5-colored divine light. The war flag's surface was made from 5 different types of beast skins. If one took a closer look, one would be able to sense the 5 types of heaven-devouring power. Su Yan was moved. This war flag was made from 5 different types of beast skins. Its power was peerless. Once it was fully unleashed, it would be difficult to imagine how vast its divine might would be. Now, the prehistoric Big Brother had directly taken it out of Zhu Yinkai's body. The 5-colored war flag shrunk and turned into a small sparkling flag. It floated in the void, intertwining with the 5 elemental sacred light. Tens of thousands of light rays of order lingered around it. What kind of terrifying method was this? The sacred weapon of a supreme existence was suppressed to the point where it lost its luster. It couldn't even cause a ripple. Zhu Yinkai trembled in fear. This was the peak sacred weapon of the Sky Bamboo lineage. It was the clan's supreme treasure, and now, it was snatched away just like that. The prehistoric Big Brother's eyes emitted a resplendent beam of light, causing Zhu Yinkai's scalp to explode. She immediately fled. She didn't even care about the sacred weapon. Her life was the most important thing now. Zhu Yongjia was also scared to death. He fled in a hurry and made up his mind to never provoke Bamboo Moon again. He didn't expect that there was an unfathomable giant behind Bamboo Moon who could snatch away a supreme existence's sacred weapon so easily. Unbelievable! Outside the resting room, King Kongpa and the others were petrified. They knew that the prehistoric Big Brother was strong, but they didn't expect him to be so strong in his domain. A supreme existence's sacred weapon was snatched away just like that. Could it be that this person stood at the peak of the supreme existence's domain? Supreme existence? How many of them were there in the entire universe? They could be counted with one's fingers. Could it be that the prehistoric Big Brother was such an existence? Chapter 962. Isn't that Zhu Yongjia? Outside the auction house, there was a group of Han clan experts gathered here. The leader, Han Kong, saw Zhu Yongjia running out and quickly asked, Zhu Yongjia, why are you in such a hurry to run out? What happened? Also, have you investigated the mysterious person in the private room? Scram! Zhu Yongjia ran quickly. When he saw Han Kong, he was furious. The reason he had Zhu Yinkai test Su Yan was mostly because of the Han family. Now that Zhu Yongjia saw someone from the Han family, he was about to go crazy. This time, they managed to find out that there was a deity among them. Even their 5-colored war flag was taken away from them. The 5-colored war flag was the Sky Bamboo lineage's most precious treasure. It had been passed down for a long time, and the Sky Bamboo lineage had spent a great deal of effort and time to gather the materials. Finally, the Sky Bamboo lineage invited 3 mighty figures from the outside world to cooperate with 2 mighty figures from the Sky Bamboo lineage. That was a total of 5 mighty figures working together. They had smelted a portion of the peerless treasures and used the beast skins of 5 mighty figures to weave the flag. Finally, the 5 mighty figures worked together and spent a great deal of time to refine the 5-colored war flag. The war flag could be said to be the sky bamboo lineage's most precious treasure. It was also one of the top great Tao sacred weapons in the world, but now it had been taken away in such a simple and violent manner. Zhu Yinkai wanted to cry. She knew very well that no matter how strong the sky bamboo lineage was, she knew very well how frightening her prehistoric big brother was. How could she report back? She couldn't say that she had tried to suppress a mysterious mighty figure, but he had taken away their treasure in a fit of anger. If she were to say this out loud, the almighty experts of the sky bamboo lineage would probably curse her to the point of spitting out blood. A god-king provoking an almighty expert? That was truly courting death. Zhu Yongjia, what is the meaning of this? Hong Kong was so angry that his hair stood on end. He stared at Zhu Yongjia. Damn it, don't you know that my brother-in-law is Qiuming? You dare to speak to me in such a tone and even tell me to scram? However, Zhu Yongjia did not have the time to deal with Hong Kong. He had to leave this place first. He could only report this matter to his family. Only by having the family's almighty step forward would he have any hope of getting the 5-colored war flag back. Crazy, is this Zhu Yongjia crazy? Han Kang's face was gloomy. He angrily rebuked the onlookers nearby. What are you looking at? What's there to see? Disperse. Young master, please calm down. Perhaps Zhu Yongjia encountered something unpleasant. Didn't you see him leave in a hurry? An old servant beside him tried to calm him down. How hateful! Hong Kong said with a gloomy face, watch carefully. Don't let that person escape. I don't believe that he will stay in the Avenue auction house forever. The Han family members all nodded. Chiu Ming had given the order that the humanoid puppet could not be lost. They were now worried that Su Yan would run away. After all, there were still 10 days until the gambling match. Did you see it clearly? I saw it clearly. That is the 5-colored war flag. It is one of the most precious treasures of the sky bamboo lineage. I didn't ask you about the 5-colored war flag. Did you see how that senior attacked? King Kongpa and the others were discussing. They had already begun to pay attention to the fight in the lounge. However, no one saw how the prehistoric Big Brother suppressed the 5-colored war flag. The 5-colored war flag is the most precious Great Tao sacred weapon. It has a terrifying self-awareness. It is extremely difficult to suppress such an item. Even an almighty would have to spend a certain amount of time to do so. However, this person suppressed the Great Tao sacred weapon with his bare hands. The 5-colored war flag did not even have the time to awaken the Almighty's foundation. King Kongpa felt a headache coming on. Within such a precious treasure, there was definitely the spiritual will of the sky bamboo lineage's elite. However, under the suppression of the prehistoric Big Brother, the Almighty's spiritual will was suppressed to the point that it did not appear. The most ridiculous thing is that he suppressed the Great Tao sacred weapon in the blink of an eye. We did not even see how he did it clearly. This almighty Big Brother's combat strength is truly unfathomable. His skills have reached the pinnacle. I have a feeling that this person might have come from a forbidden area. King Kongpa and the others were discussing intensely. However, no matter what, they paid more attention to the prehistoric Big Brother. They reckoned that in 10 days, a storm would break out in the Great Tao City. I will report the news to the Tao Temple now. Let the elites of the Tao Temple be prepared. Before King Kongpa left, he instructed, you must treat our esteemed guests well. Try your best to satisfy all their requests. Also, pass down the order that no information about them should be leaked. If anything happens, we won't be able to take responsibility. The entire Grand Avenue auction house was filled with guests. Big Brother Prehistoric casually made a move, and it really stunned their minds. As for the lounge, Bamboo Moon's eyes were still filled with shock. He had used such shocking methods to snatch the 5-colored war flag. Just how powerful was this person? Then, Bamboo Moon's eyes fell on Su Yen. Su Yen happened to be looking at Bamboo Moon as well. Their eyes met. Bamboo Moon tilted her head slightly and did not look him in the eye. Su Yen felt that Bamboo Moon had changed. Compared to the past, she had an ethereal aura. She was like a fairy from the Moon Palace, graceful and elegant. Her snow-white body was filled with the aura of the great Tao. She was like a real fairy, untainted by the mortal world. Her snow-white body was filled with moonlight, and her starry eyes were shining brightly. She was beautiful beyond compare. Bamboo Moon, it's me. Su Yen no longer concealed his identity and changed his appearance. Su Yen. Bamboo Moon's face instantly bloomed with a beautiful smile. It was truly a smile that could topple cities. It made people linger and forget to leave. They could be immersed in it and could not extricate themselves. Her beautiful smile made the world lose its luster. Bamboo Moon's heart was filled with surprise. She did not expect to meet Su Yen in such a situation. This was really a huge surprise for him. Ha ha ha! Su Yen laughed a few times. At the same time, he introduced Bamboo Moon. This is my big brother. I am Bamboo Moon. Bamboo Moon's expression was dignified and beautiful. She walked toward the prehistoric big brother and said respectfully, "Greetings, big brother." The prehistoric big brother gave a rare nod of acknowledgement. Bamboo Moon was also very restrained in front of him. Even a half-step Almighty would suffocate in front of this big brother. Although Bamboo Moon was from the Sky Bamboo lineage, facing this big brother, she felt like she was facing an abyss. Was this an expert from the burial region race? Bamboo Moon had once gone to the back progenitor, but she did not see this deity there. She knew that the strongest expert of the burial region race was the old leader. That old leader was also frightening, but it was obvious that he was not the same person as the prehistoric big brother. Could it be that the burial region race has two peak almighties overseeing it? Bamboo Moon's expression changed slightly. If that was the case, it would definitely cause a storm. A race overseen by two peak almighties was ridiculously strong. Who would say that the race had declined? Bamboo Moon, this is not the place to talk. Let's go out and find a place, Su Yen said. All right, let's go. Bamboo Moon nodded. Along the way, she pondered for a while and said, Are you really going to carry out the gambling fight in 10 days? Of course. Su Yan's eyes flashed with killing intent. This Han Weiran had almost killed Bamboo Moon back then. Su Yen would definitely make a move and teach her a lesson on the Great Tao battle platform. What kind of treasure is that human-shaped puppet? Bamboo Moon was curious and asked again. I know Chiu Ming. He is very selfish. If he really wants the human-shaped puppet, he will definitely pay a great price to increase Han Weiran's combat strength. Su Yen, no matter how fast your cultivation speed is, you probably haven't stepped into the realm of God yet, right? Bamboo Moon said directly. Why don't you give up on the gambling fight in case you encounter any danger? He shouldn't underestimate a peak realm of God. After all, this realm of God's divine power is extraordinary. They can use many terrifying secret techniques. Bamboo Moon also did not want Su Yen to fight Han Weiran. After all, there was a gap between their realms. Moreover, Chiu Ming would definitely do his best to help Han Weiran increase her strength. She was worried that Su Yen would be in danger. She has a secret technique, and so do I. Bamboo Moon, you don't have to worry. Su Yen said confidently. Even if Han Weiran had a powerful secret technique, Chiu Ming had a heaven-defying secret technique. However, there were some secret techniques that Chiu Ming was willing to pass on to Han Weiran. Su Yen did not believe it at all. Although his realm was not enough, Su Yen had the body-nurturing technique. With such a shocking secret technique in hand, if there was really a need to erupt the power of his physical body that he had sealed, a shocking battle strength would definitely emerge. Although Su Yen had sealed his physical body for a few days, he had bid for many heavenly treasures. During these few days, he would definitely be able to gather a large amount of divine power for his use. It's good that you are confident. The heavenly power chapter is indeed very important to you. If you can obtain it, it's also a great thing. Anyway, the feud between you and the Han family cannot be resolved. You don't need this. Bamboo Moon looked at Big Brother Prehistoric. The reason why Su Yen could be so ostentatious in the Great Tao City was definitely because he had Big Brother Prehistoric as his trump card. She felt a lot more relieved. That's right. Su Yen also nodded. If he could take the opportunity to obtain the Heavenly Power chapter, Su Yen was confident that he would be able to step into the 7th stage. At that time, in the Chaos Ruins, he would be able to explore the various dangerous places and reap the benefit. When they were about to reach the main entrance, a veil appeared on Bamboo Moon's face, covering her stunning face. It's him. As soon as Su Yen walked out of the Great Tao auction house, Hong Kong became excited. He would recognize Su Yen even if he turned into ashes. Previously, he had lost a lot of face at the old pub. A group of people from the Han clan came over and surrounded Su Yen from the inside out. Crackle! Crackle! Hong Kong clenched his fists and sneered. I don't care if you are Su Yen or not. Anyway, in 10 days you must go to the Great Tao battle platform. Don't be a coward then. Hong Kong stared at Su Yen as if he was looking at a dead man. Su Yen frowned and said, What are you all doing here? Get out of my way. Hong Kong sneered, Kid, if you have the ability, you can still be arrogant on the Great Tao battle platform. Let me tell you, don't even think about running away. You can't leave the Great Tao City. A good dog doesn't block the way. Su Yen shouted. His voice was very loud and spread all around, attracting many people to stop and watch. This was the core street. Han Kang's face was gloomy, and he didn't dare to be too domineering. He said disdainfully, Let's see how long you can be arrogant. Let's go. Hong Kong was very confident about the battle in 10 days. Chiu Ming had already started to train Han Weiran. In less than 10 days, Han Weiran's combat ability would change drastically. Chapter 963. Hong Kong left, but he instructed a few cultivators under him to follow Su Yen and the rest. They were following Su Yen brazenly wherever he went. Su Yen did not mind at all. Some people were afraid that he would run away, but Su Yen was more worried that they would back out at the last minute. Before his trump card, the prehistoric Big Brother, was exposed, Su Yen would not leave the Great Tao City. Su Yen also felt a sense of urgency. Zhu Kai, that old thing, just had to make things difficult for him. In the end, the prehistoric Big Brother attacked in anger and snatched the 5-colored battle flag with his bare hand. Zhu Kai and the rest were probably returning to the Sky Bamboo lineage now. Then, the prehistoric Big Brother's strength would be exposed soon. They have been following us. Bamboo Moon frowned slightly. This also meant that the Han family was very confident. She was really worried about the bet in 10 days. Let them be. Don't worry about them. Su Yen acted as if nothing had happened as he wandered around the core streets of the Great Tao City. Bamboo Moon originally wanted to say something, but in the end, she did not. She looked at Su Yen with a pair of bright eyes. She had known Su Yen since she was young. Until now, a few decades had passed. Had Su Yen not experienced enough of the carnage and bloodshed? It could be said that he was a young man who walked out of a primitive planet and had become the top overlord of the younger generation. Su Yen had enough prestige, and Bamboo Moon was now full of confidence in him. Now that she had thought through all this, Bamboo Moon felt much more relaxed. Her temperament was ethereal like a fairy, and her face was covered by a white veil. However, wherever she passed, she still attracted a lot of attention. When they passed by the restaurant where they had been eating and drinking, the prehistoric Big Brother looked over and recalled the fine wine and delicacies. His footsteps slowed down significantly. This scene made Su Yan thicken his skin and ask Bamboo Moon, "Is there a famous restaurant in the Great Tao City?" "There is." Bamboo Moon chuckled. "The most famous restaurant in the Great Tao City is the Heavenly Abode. This restaurant is also an important business of our Sky Bamboo lineage. It's not far from here." "That's great." Su Yan's heart skipped a beat. He chuckled and said, "I see that Big Brother is also tired. Why don't we go to the Heavenly Abode and sit for a while?" "I was just about to go to the Heavenly Abode." Bamboo Moon smiled at Big Brother Prehistoric. "Big Brother, the Heavenly Abode has a lot of delicious food. This little girl also has some authority in the Heavenly Abode. I can definitely arrange a sumptuous dinner." Su Yan was now embarrassingly short of money. He did not even have much primal chaos treasure left on him, let alone a meal. He was afraid that he would not even be able to enter the Heavenly Abode. Will it harm Bamboo Moon? Su Yan's expression changed as well. He smiled bitterly in his heart. With his prehistoric Big Brother's stomach, it wouldn't be enough even if he ate for a year. However, Su Yan thought again in his heart, if Big Brother is happy, he might pass on some secret arts and divine abilities to Bamboo Moon. It would be of great help to Bamboo Moon's cultivation. Thinking of this, Su Yan hurriedly urged Bamboo Moon to go. With the prehistoric Big Brother's terrifying level, Bamboo Moon would naturally do her best to arrange it. If a mighty expert really wanted to find someone to spend money to treat him, then the rulers of the major peak clans would fight to be the first to come. The Heavenly Abode was indeed the most famous restaurant in the Great Tao City. However, the expenses of the Heavenly Abode were not something that ordinary people could afford. Even if it was an ordinary divine king who treated him, he would hesitate for a long time before going to the Heavenly Abode. Before arriving at the Heavenly Abode, Su Yan had already smelled an enticing aroma accompanied by the fragrance of wine. The Heavenly Abode was extremely imposing. It occupied an entire street, and the entire Heavenly Abode seemed to be situated in the clouds. There was an endless stream of people coming and going. Those who could come to the Heavenly Abode to spend money had to have a high status. However, even though the Heavenly Abode was expensive, there were still many cultivators who came. There were many cultivators who came to spend money, and there were even heavenly deity stage powerhouses everywhere. Even mighty experts like the Divine King were frequent customers. For example, the Heavenly Abode would have a mighty experts banquet every once in a while. A mighty experts banquet was a banquet that a mighty expert would treat everyone. The expenses would easily be a terrifying 50,000 kilograms of chaos treasures. Of course, there were all kinds of exotic delicacies, many of which were made from the flesh of divine beasts. Many people had never even seen them before. The entrance of the Heavenly Abode was grand and majestic. There were groups of beautiful women welcoming guests, welcoming them into the Heavenly Abode. Bamboo Moon directly took out a Sky Bamboo disciple's identity token and handed it to one of the welcoming women. The woman's expression changed drastically when she saw the token, and she was about to kneel on the ground. No need for formalities. Bamboo Moon's slender hand reached out and helped the woman up. She smiled and said, "Arrange a quiet room for us." "Yes, young Mississippi," the woman quickly nodded with a frightened expression. Clearly, she was shocked by the identity token that Bamboo Moon took out. The Heavenly Abode was the property of the Sky Bamboo lineage, but the lineage's disciples rarely appeared in the Heavenly Abode. The identity token that Bamboo Moon took out was equivalent to the Elder token of the Sky Bamboo lineage. It was extremely powerful, and one could even enjoy a 50% discount when eating in the Heavenly Abode. Under the guidance of the woman, they stepped through the Heavenly Abode's entrance and came to the interior. What entered their sight was a garden built with precious flowers and trees. There was heavenly music here, and there were also beautiful women dancing. Su Yan sighed at the grandeur of the Heavenly Abode. After passing through the garden, they could see many jade palaces. The layout of the buildings was quite orderly. They were built according to a kind of large-scale formation diagram that could gather the essence of the 8 desolaces into the heavenly abode. Su Yan's group went to a courtyard built in the core area. The atmosphere was tranquil, and there was a formation that isolated the bustling atmosphere of the outside world. Without a doubt, this was one of the few private rooms in the heavenly abode. It even had a secret cultivation room. In the past, there were even almighty banquets set up here. The Divine King's Banquet. Bamboo Moon's words were shocking, and the woman who led them in was shocked. The Divine King's Banquet was a luxurious set meal that was second only to the almighty banquet in the heavenly abode. It easily required more than 10,000 kilograms of primordial materials. Of course, there were also different prices. However, Bamboo Moon directly asked for the best Divine King's Banquet, and the price was 10,000 kilograms of primordial materials. With Bamboo Moon's status, she only needed to spend 2,500 kilograms of primordial materials. However, this price was also frightening. Su Yan whispered, "I say, Bamboo Moon, isn't this too expensive? Although there is a 50% discount, 5,000 kilograms of primordial materials. This is not like you who spent a lot of money at the auction." Bamboo Moon glanced at Su Yan and chuckled. She then said, "The price is a bit expensive, but the 50% discount makes it worth it. Furthermore, we have to entertain Big Brother. We can't be stingy." Su Yan scratched his head. He was now penniless. He even wanted to say that the prehistoric Big Brother had a huge appetite. He was afraid that the Divine King's Banquet would not be enough. Before they could say anything, a large group of stewards came to the restaurant. The Sky Bamboo lineage's legacy disciples had arrived, and they all hurriedly came to greet them. Su Yan felt strange. These stewards were very flattering. One after another, they brought over many good things. They were all precious wine and dishes cooked with precious ingredients. Zhu Yu didn't stand on ceremony. She didn't reveal herself or show her true face. Although the stewards were curious, they didn't dare ask. The identity of the Sky Bamboo lineage is really shocking. Su Yan was amazed. He did not expect Bamboo Moon to become a legacy disciple of the Sky Bamboo lineage. Her status in the family was probably not low. Furthermore, Bamboo Moon had also obtained the Star Moon fruit. In the future, she was very confident that she could become the Divine King. Waiting for Bamboo Moon to step into this stage, then, she would have a greater say in the Sky Bamboo lineage. Not long after, a large number of dishes were served. The heavenly abode's dishes were all very exquisite. Every dish contained a faintly discernible Tao connotation. Su Yan was moved. As expected of the chef of the heavenly abode. Just the utensils used to cook the delicacies were impressive. Su Yan tasted a few dishes. Indeed, they were much better than the ones they ate at the restaurant. Moreover, these dishes contained a shocking Tao energy that overflowed in one's body. The Divine King's Banquet was not something an ordinary person could afford. This was a menu that was specially made for the Divine King. It contained boundless energy. Bamboo Moon took off her veil, revealing her beautiful face. She drank a few cups of wine, and 2 bright red spots floated on her snow-white cheek. Bamboo Moon smiled gently. It could be said that a smile could charm 100 people. Her white teeth were sparkling, and her appearance was peerless. "What are you smiling about?" Su Yan was amused when he saw Bamboo Moon's graceful appearance. "I'm just a little emotional." Bamboo Moon pursed her bright red lips and said softly, "I don't know what will happen in the future." "Why are you saying this? Do you know something?" Su Yan frowned. Bamboo Moon was from the Sky Bamboo lineage. What she heard and saw was unknown to the cultivators of the outside world. "Nothing." Bamboo Moon shook her head slightly. Her sparkling black hair fluttered slightly. She wore a silver robe, and her snow-white skin flowed with moonlight. She was indescribably beautiful. "I heard." Su Yan hesitated for a moment. He glanced at the prehistoric Big Brother and said in a deep voice, I heard that a mighty figure of your sky bamboo lineage died many years ago. Bamboo Moon was not surprised. This matter had not happened too long ago, and the news had spread in the outside world. She clenched her slender hands and looked at Su Yen. He didn't die, but the situation is terrible. The mighty figure's body has been rotting. Su Yan's eyes flashed with a cold light. Back then, he had walked out of the Milky Way and used the Universe Bridge to cross the universe. However, along the way, he had encountered a rotting hand and almost lost his life. Even my clan's supreme treasure could not contain the injuries. If this continues, the mighty figure will not be able to withstand it. I don't know what kind of evil things happened. There are many things that are not public, and I don't know much. Bamboo Moon looked at Su Yen and asked, "The battle back then was said to be led by the powerhouse behind the scenes of your Burial Realm clan." Su Yen laughed. If Bamboo Moon knew that person was sitting right next to her, who knew what she would think of Bamboo Moon? Back then, the prehistoric Big Brother had killed his way into a mysterious place and caused a great battle. Later on, it had led to a series of tragedies. If the prehistoric Big Brother had not acted, Su Yen felt that he would no longer exist. Just what kind of terrifying leader was that? Su Yen found it hard to imagine that a mighty figure had accidentally entered and almost died. "Su Yen, do you know the origin of your clan?" Bamboo Moon's sudden words stunned Su Yen. He stared at Bamboo Moon and said, "Do you know something? If you know something, don't hide it from me." "What I know is limited." Bamboo Moon asked, "Do you know what the Celestial Court's remnant clan is?" Su Yan's heart was in turmoil. Bamboo Moon knew about the Celestial Court's remnant clan. Before Su Yen could even ask, the aura of the prehistoric Big Brother changed slightly. His long gray hair danced in the wind, revealing a face that had experienced many vicissitudes of life. In particular, his deep eyes were like two condensed universes that were shining. Clearly, the Celestial Court's remnant clan had touched the prehistoric Big Brother greatly. The Nine Heavens Divine Sovereign. Chapter 964. Obviously, the words, remnant of the Celestial Court, had greatly affected the prehistoric Big Brother. This made Su Yen unable to calm down. Could it be that the prehistoric Big Brother's origin was so ancient that it could be traced back to the era of the Celestial Court? Impossible! Su Yan's face was filled with shock as he muttered in his heart. After all, that era was too far away. Even the celestial planet no longer had legends about it, let alone a mysterious era that happened before the celestial planet. Back then, the Celestial Court's hundreds of millions of soldiers and horses set out on an expedition. They followed a terrifying path and charged into a mysterious world. He still vaguely remembered the prehistoric scenes left behind on the God Burial Mountain. They seemed to be following someone, or looking for someone, or going to war. In short, the endless army of the Celestial Court never returned. Su Yen guessed that those who remained were the remnant of the Celestial Court's so-called remnant of the Celestial Court. Perhaps when a large number of the Celestial Court's soldiers left, a new era, the era of the Celestial Planet, had arrived. It was unknown how long it had existed. When the demons invaded, the Celestial Planet collapsed, and the Zhongyu clan was born. Bamboo Moon's eyes fell on the prehistoric Big Brother. She had a feeling that the legends were true. Perhaps the Zhongyu clan really had an inseparable relationship with the remnant of the Celestial Court. "Why did you mention the remnant of the Celestial Court?" Su Yen asked in a heavy tone. This was also very important to him. "I heard from the experts of my family that your clan is related to the remnant of the Celestial Court," Bamboo Moon said, "but I don't know much about the remnant of the Celestial Court." Hearing this, Su Yen quickly said, "Did you mention the Celestial Court?" Bamboo Moon shook her head. She had never heard of the mysterious Celestial Court. The legends about the Celestial Court were only spread among the later progenitor. It was a legend among legends. Could it be? Su Yen had a bold guess. Could it be that during the glorious era of the Celestial Court, the progenitor had already been born? Could it be that the Zhongyu clan was actually a force formed by the descendants of the Celestial Court, and over time, they were called the Zhongyu clan? Su Yan wanted to get to the bottom of this historical mystery. He always felt that his tribe was closely related to the ancient Celestial Court. My clan said that the buried region clan's history is difficult to trace back to. Their history is incalculable. Bamboo Moon suddenly looked at Su Yan and said gravely, "They also said that the reason they're called the Buried Regions clan is because they sealed the sky extinction lands and did heaven-defying things. Because of some special reasons, there is some karma involved, as well as some ancient grudges." Bamboo Moon vaguely pointed out that the clan would be in big trouble in the future. This era of the universe was not simple. Perhaps there would be unprecedented changes. Could it be that my clan is really related to the Celestial Court? Or is it a force that was passed down from the Celestial Court? Su Yan's mood was complicated. He thought to himself, back then, an army of billions followed a path and left their homeland, heading to a mysterious world to fight. We are a clan that was left behind to protect our homeland. He suddenly sneered. If it was really as he guessed, then the Buried Region clan could be said to have been defeated, right? However, Su Yan shook his head. They had not been defeated yet. The Buried Region clan still existed, and their bloodline was still passed down. You don't have to worry about me. Su Yan saw the worry in Bamboo Moon's eyes. He walked forward and said, "Counter soldiers with arms, water with an earth weir. No matter what happens in the future, we still have to face what we have to face. I want to know where the battle back then took place." Realm C, if the Immortal Graveyard is the #1 land of danger in the Primal Chaos ruins, then the Realm C is the most mysterious place in the universe. Bamboo Moon told Su Yan the answer he wanted. This made Su Yan sink into contemplation. This was the first time he heard about the Realm Sea, but Su Yan knew very well that the Realm Sea might very well hide the Immortal Star. If he had the chance, he definitely had to go to the Realm Sea to take a look. Realm Sea, where is it? Su Yan asked curiously. Hearing this, Bamboo Moon shook her head and said, "I don't know. The Realm Sea is the most mysterious place in the world. Normally, even powerful experts don't dare to trespass there. And there are very few things about the Realm Sea that have been passed down in the cultivation world." Su Yan was astonished. With Bamboo Moon's identity, she actually didn't know the destination of the Realm Sea. This place was truly astonishing. He drank a few cups of fine wine. The fine wine and delicacies of the Divine King's banquet all contained astonishing energy. Su Yan's corporeal body had a tendency of not being able to endure it. However, Su Yan used the body-nurturing technique to devour the great Tao essence and store it in his corporeal body. Prepare well, don't think about other things. Bamboo Moon was a bit drunk, so she didn't use her divine power to refine it. Her cheeks were flushed red, her beauty radiating in all directions. She said softly to Su Yan, "Is there anything special about that puppet? I almost forgot something important." Su Yan composed himself and took out the Qiankuan stone first. Bamboo Moon was astonished. Could it be that this thing was special? The appraisal grandmasters of this great Tao auction house had extremely sinister eyes. It was one thing for the humanoid puppet to make a mistake, but could it be that the universe stone also made a mistake? Su Yan smiled mysteriously at her. He stared at the universe stone and studied it. This thing was contaminated by the blood of an expert, emitting a type of bitter aura. It was lying on Su Yan's hand, so much so that it felt like it was cutting his hand. The prehistoric Big Brother directly reached out his hand and took the universe stone. "Big Brother, what good stuff is hidden inside?" Su Yan hurriedly moved closer. Bamboo Moon also watched with widened eyes. This universe stone's value was also extremely high. However, the prehistoric Big Brother's following actions made Bamboo Moon's forehead faintly produce black lines. "Gotcha. It was because the prehistoric Big Brother's fingers exerted force and actually crushed the universe stone. This was too much of a waste. At the same time, Bamboo Moon was shocked. This thing was an item used to forge a supreme expert's sacred weapon. The prehistoric Big Brother directly crushed it. Just how strong was it? However, within the crushed Qianquan stone, a golden light suddenly shone brightly, illuminating the entire room. There's another substance inside? Bamboo Moon was moved. These were drops of golden liquid that flowed out from the universe stone. Each drop was as resplendent as the blazing sun, burning fiercely. It was as if small suns had flown out. 12 drops of golden liquid, as resplendent as the blazing sun. The more he looked at it, the more he realized that the golden liquid was like a terrifying golden eye floating in the void, causing the universe to tremble. Bamboo Moon was pleasantly surprised. Her expression was jubilant like a happy child. She revealed a smile. There's stone bile hidden in the universe stone. This is a divine liquid that's hard to find in the world. You've really struck gold. Using such a little chaos treasure, you've obtained a shocking amount of wealth. Stone bile. Su Yen was a little confused. He didn't know what it was. This item is not inferior to the universe mother liquid. Bamboo Moon smiled excitedly at Su Yen. Its effects are even extremely shocking. According to ancient records, when the universe stone reaches a certain age, it can produce stone bile. This stone bile contains the profound mysteries of seeing through the changes of the universe. It's the divine eye liquid? Su Yen clenched his fists, his eyes shining. What kind of treasure was the universe stone? The stone bile fluid it produced would definitely be enough to shock the world. To be precise, even many ancient supreme experts had never seen this item. This was because it was too rare. After a long period of precipitation, this universe stone had gathered its energy essence into the stone bile. Once it was absorbed and refined, one could imagine how shocking it would be. Without waiting for Su Yen and Bamboo Moon to discuss, the prehistoric Big Brother pointed his finger, and drop after drop of stone bile shot into Su Yan's eyeballs. In one exchange, Su Yen felt a piercing pain in his eyes. It was as if they were pierced by a raging fire. Ah! He couldn't help but hold his head and cry out in pain. However, his face was distorted because it was too painful. His eyes were really pierced and burned. This kind of pain was extremely difficult to bear. It affected Su Yan's soul. Bear with it. It'll be over soon. Once you cultivate and awaken the universe eye, it will be one of the largest divine eyes in the world. Bamboo Moon hurriedly walked over to comfort him. Who knew that before she could finish speaking, the prehistoric Big Brother directly injected the remaining drops of golden stone bile into Bamboo Moon's starry eyes. Ah! Bamboo Moon also felt pain. Blood flowed out of her eyes. Her beautiful body was paralyzed on the ground, trembling. Bamboo Moon, what's wrong with you? In the midst of the pain, Su Yen heard Bamboo Moon scream. Su Yen stretched out his hand like a blind man and quickly touched a soft body. In a moment of desperation, Su Yen didn't have the time to think. His palm could feel Bamboo Moon's delicate body trembling. I'm fine. Bamboo Moon gritted her teeth. She was paralyzed on the ground. Her black hair was scattered, and her eyes were in so much pain that it almost pierced her soul. Just like that, the two blind men were in pain and nervous. They were really worried that their eyes would go blind. Don't be afraid, Big Brother knows what he's doing. This time, it was Su Yan's turn to comfort Bamboo Moon. His palm scratched everywhere and touched some soft parts that he shouldn't touch. Bamboo Moon's body was soft as if it was made of water. She was extremely charming. It could be said that she had celestial skin and jade bones. I'm fine, don't run around. Bamboo Moon's cheeks were slightly red. She had always guarded her body like jade, and had never been in close contact with other men, let alone now being in such close contact with Su Yen. Su Yen was relieved. He wasn't in the mood to think about other things. He tried his best to calm down. Although his eyes were in pain, Su Yen felt that the heaven and earth stone bile contained an astonishing substance. It was beginning to penetrate Su Yan's eyeballs. Su Yen felt that his eyes were about to explode, but he also felt that his eyes had become magnificent. It was a very contradictory feeling. In short, he gathered his courage and swallowed the energy of the stone bile. The pain was gradually alleviated. Slowly, Su Yen felt that his eyes were boiling. There was a kind of extreme heat that was about to disintegrate. Boom! His ears roared. He really felt that his eyes were about to explode, but after a burst of heaven and earth, he caught a terrifying Tao fruit. It was as if he had seen through the changes of heaven and earth. He felt a kind of profound power that was born from the creation of heaven and earth. Heaven and earth splitting open. Su Yan's eyes trembled. He had comprehended the important changes of heaven and earth. Su Yan's eyes suddenly opened. It was as if the fiery eyes of truth had appeared. They shot out 2 rays of light. It was like a brilliant light that cut through the void. The waterfall that shot out seemed as if it would pierce through the stars of the universe. His eyes blazed like 2 balls of heaven and earth fire. The world had changed. Su Yen seemed to have seen through the essence of the world. He could see the essence qi floating in the air. He could even see through the protective array of the courtyard and see the people and things in the entire heavenly abode. Su Yen was in a daze. He was silent. In the short period of light, the expressions of many powerhouses in the heavenly abode changed. They faintly felt that a terrifying existence was secretly watching them. Without a doubt, the heaven and earth eye was too strong. It made many powerhouses in the heavenly abode uneasy because it was difficult to find the source. Ha ha ha! Su Yen laughed in his heart. Moreover, he had restrained the heaven and earth eye's observation technique. He was worried that the powerhouses would see through it. Su Yan's face was suffused with a smile. When his gaze stopped in the private room, he was petrified. This was because a graceful and noble woman was sitting cross-legged in front of him. Under the heaven and earth eye's insight, a beautiful and delicate body was revealed in Su Yan's eyes. 9 Heavens Divine Sovereign. Chapter 965. Time seemed to come to a standstill. It was almost impossible to find the words to praise Bamboo Moon. Her skin was smooth and supple, and she exuded endless charm. A pair of snow-white slender legs were crossed, and her slender waist was so slender that it could be held with one arm. Her curves rose and fell, and her snow-white skin was suffused with moonlight. This was a perfect and peerless figure that appeared in Su Yan's eyes. Even though she appeared naked in Su Yan's eyes, there was still a dignified dignity that couldn't be profaned. She was still so graceful and elegant, and her beauty was peerless. She was as quiet as an orchid. At this time, Bamboo Moon's eyes also opened. They were equally shocking and terrifying. The universal eye was the strongest eye of heaven in the world. Once cultivated, one could control the changes of the universe and see through the universe. It was terrifying and ever-changing. She knew about the mysteries of the universal eye beforehand, so she didn't wantonly observe the heavenly abode's actions. After all, even great figures of various races wouldn't recklessly use their eyes of heaven to observe the heavenly abode's actions. This would easily arouse disgust. Bamboo Moon revealed a smile. She never imagined that she would encounter such a fortuitous encounter. This was a great opportunity that even the peak divine king was envious of. Even the peak races had spent a great deal of effort to help their younger generation cultivate their eyes of heaven. After all, once one cultivated a powerful eye of heaven, they could seize the initiative in a battle between their peers. But the universal eye was one of the strongest eyes of heaven in the world, and its effects were even more heaven-defying. The prehistoric Big Brother had sharp eyes. He had dug out a total of 12 drops of universal stone that Su Yen had bought. If this item was really put up for auction in the Great Tao Auction House, the price would be terrifying. If it was split into 2 groups, The price of each group wouldn't be any less than hundreds of thousands of chaos treasures. The price might even be more ridiculous. After all, this item was extremely important to the younger generation. When the time came, the northern monster and the others would risk their lives to bid for it. To them, it wasn't inferior to the mighty figure battle armor or the golden indestructible pill. But for Su Yan, he was proficient in the mystic arts. Now that he had cultivated the Cosmos Eye, it was enough for him to reach a terrifying level in the mystic arts domain. In terms of divine eyes, he might have even surpassed the peak divine king. But when Bamboo Moon's eyes landed on Su Yan, she realized that Su Yan was staring at her in a daze. Bamboo Moon's face almost collapsed. Su Yan suddenly came back to his senses and stood up. He stretched his body and said, "I've been in seclusion for a few days. My legs are a bit stiff." Bamboo Moon's face darkened. She had the urge to beat up Su Yan. However, Bamboo Moon was thinking whether she could still suppress Su Yan. Where did Big Brother go? Su Yan found an excuse to slip out. He couldn't bear Bamboo Moon's resentful gaze. Just as he opened the door, Su Yan heaved a sigh of relief. He was really worried that the prehistoric Big Brother would mysteriously disappear. It was already the most critical moment. Once the old man left, Su Yan would have no choice but to run. Bamboo Moon also walked out. She noticed that the prehistoric Big Brother was studying the humanoid puppet. She was also curious. For Chiu Ming to care so much about something, it must be something extraordinary. And this top mighty figure was actually studying the puppet. This meant that the humanoid puppet wasn't simple. Its value probably exceeded the Cosmos Stone Bile. The humanoid puppet stood in the courtyard, emanating a terrifying aura. It was like a living creature that looked down on the world. Its tall body emitted a terrifying light. It was filled with a heavy, mysterious, and domineering aura. It really didn't look like a puppet. "Big Brother, is there any hope of repairing this puppet?" Su Yan went up and asked. The prehistoric Big Brother nodded. He also cared about this puppet. This response surprised Su Yan. He asked, "What materials do you need? Big Brother, can you repair it? How strong is the puppet's true strength?" "It's difficult." The prehistoric Big Brother couldn't say, but he commented, "It's from the Uncanny Workmanship series. It's a top-notch puppet." It was rare for the prehistoric Big Brother to say so much. There seemed to be a smile on his weathered face. He seemed to be pleasantly surprised by this kind of bargain. If this item was measured by its value, it would be a rare treasure in the world. Moreover, if the value of the puppet was publicized and it was still being auctioned, it would no longer be a simple auction. This was an item that was hard to find in the world, and it was enough to cause a terrifying bloodbath. The great Tao city might even be sunk. Uncanny workmanship. Bamboo Moon's face turned pale. It was obvious that she had heard of this lost forging technique. At this moment, Bamboo Moon understood. No wonder Chiu Ming valued it so much. It turned out that this puppet was related to the legendary uncanny workmanship. Uncanny workmanship? You know about it too? Su Yan was surprised. Bamboo Moon glared at Su Yan and smiled at the prehistoric Big Brother. "Big Brother, I know about this uncanny workmanship forging technique. It's hard to trace its origin. My clan once found some records in the incomplete universe. It's said that this is the strongest forging technique in the world. It's a pity that it wasn't passed down." Su Yan shrugged helplessly and agreed. Big Brother said that it's a top-notch puppet. Bamboo Moon's expression kept changing. She felt that the prehistoric Big Brother was wrong. This was because, according to historical records, this series of top-notch puppets seemed to be heaven-defying items. She didn't know how strong they were, but this thing was still damaged. It was very difficult to repair it. She didn't know if it could still be done one day. Su Yan observed the humanoid puppet with the eye of the universe. He couldn't see what secrets this puppet had. He didn't know how the prehistoric Big Brother could see its uniqueness and extraordinariness. Of course, even if it was damaged, the materials used to forge it were still materials that were hard to find in the world. 1. Su Yan's figure passed through the void and merged with the humanoid puppet in an instant. At this moment, Su Yan's aura changed. It was as if a demon god was born. His long black hair danced in the wind. His whole body rippled with a peerless strength that could tear the sky apart. This was definitely the strength of the Divine King. His aura could swallow mountains and rivers, and his roar could shake the starry sky. Su Yan felt as if he could shatter the sea. Without a doubt, when he merged with the puppet, Su Yan felt as if he had transformed into a divine king who could fight for supremacy over the world. It had to be said that the Divine King's strength possessed a perverse allure. What a powerful puppet! Su Yan was flabbergasted. Even if it wasn't a puppet forged by the Divine Craftsmanship series and was just an ordinary puppet, Su Yan felt that it was worth it even if he had to spend tens of thousands of kilograms of chaos materials. This item was extremely important to Su Yan. However, after circulating the puppet's strength for a while, Su Yan's expression changed. He discovered that the Divine King's energy released by the puppet was rapidly decreasing. It's lacking driving energy. Bamboo Moon saw through the clues. She said, "Normally, puppets require energy crystals to drive. If this puppet wants to maintain its combat strength for a long period of time, it must consume a great deal of resources." Su Yan took out hundreds of kilograms of chaos liquid and sprinkled it over the human-shaped puppet. At this time, the human-shaped puppet's aura suddenly changed. It was as if it had a life of its own. As it breathed in and out, its entire body glowed, as if it had a body of flesh and blood. Its pores spat out the power of chaos liquid, restoring some of its withered functions. As expected, the declining Divine King's energy began to rise sharply. This caused Su Yan to laugh heartily. This puppet was truly extraordinary. With this Divine King puppet in hand, even a Divine King-level expert wouldn't be able to do anything to Su Yan. He familiarized himself with the puppet's abilities here. This puppet had perfectly merged with Su Yan. It could even move according to Su Yan's will and control the intensity of the puppet's eruption of energy. However, the consumption was enormous. Over 100 drops of chaos liquid were used up in just half a cup of tea's time. Another burning treasury. Su Yan smiled helplessly. This thing was too expensive. The consumption was already so shocking even before the battle. If the puppet's combat power was fully unleashed, the consumption of the puppet would definitely soar by more than 10 times. If it really fought a big battle, the consumption of resources would be a bottomless pit. Fortunately, Su Yan still had a large amount of chaos liquid on him. Back then, when he extorted the Divine Firmament sect, Su Yan had sealed up a large amount of chaos liquid. Buzz. With a thought, Su Yan separated from the puppet. He had an illusion that he had fallen from the Divine King level to the Divine Spirit level. Su Yan was slightly dazed. This thing was really terrifying. It could affect one's state of mind. I need to cultivate in seclusion for a few days. The time of the battle is getting closer and closer. Su Yan still had more than a dozen kinds of heavenly treasures on him. He was prepared to use these treasures to strengthen the accumulation of his body-nurturing technique. Su Yan had already sealed his physical body. Even if they fought on the Great Tao battle platform, unless it was a critical moment, Su Yan would not use the power of his physical body. Now that Su Yan had cultivated the Eye of the Universe, he was very confident in this battle. Under the state of the Eye of the Universe, even the Divine King's speed would be reduced, not to mention a mere peak heavenly god expert. Su Yan went directly to the cultivation room and took out the void herb garden. He planted all the natural treasures he had on him in the medicinal field in the void. Soon, over 100 kinds of rare and precious medicines were planted in this 10 feet wide medicinal field. Many of the herbs were harvested by Su Yan previously. He was not willing to sell them. Now that there were more than 100 herbs planted in the herb garden, it was a bit shocking in a short time. The herb garden shone, and the herbs were breathing on their own. They were filled with a vigorous source of life, filling the entire cultivation room with vitality. Su Yen entered the art of body nurturing cultivation. As he breathed in and out, his sealed body stretched and began to contain the power of the source of the herbs. It was a very special and wonderful feeling. Su Yan's physical body seemed to have started to mutate. There was a kind of life stone, an aura of nurturing the strongest living being permeating the air. Time flew. The Han family had been monitoring Su Yan's every move. He went to the best private room in the heavenly abode. "We can't go in to investigate." A spy came to report that in Qiuming's official residence, many members of the Han family were relieved. As long as Su Yen did not leave the city of the Great Tao, it would be fine. "I don't think he is Su Yen. If he really is Su Yen, he wouldn't dare to take the risk in the city of the Great Tao." An old expert of the Han family speculated, and it was agreed by many experts. "It doesn't matter if he is or not. We must get the puppet." Hong Kong sneered and said, "My brother-in-law spent a lot of effort to help him. This person doesn't have long to live. I really don't know what's so special about the puppet that my brother-in-law values it so much. Seems like I've only updated 3 chapters. I'm in tears." This book came from Chapter 966. But now in the city of the Great Tao, news of the bet at the Great Tao auction house began to spread, causing a huge uproar. The Heavenly Force chapter and the humanoid puppet are betting. It's said that the humanoid puppet is a dusty treasure. Even Qiuming is very concerned about it. This bet is really shocking. With the Tao Temple overseeing it, a fair battle is even held on the Great Tao battle stage. Even Qiuming is involved. It seems that he's determined to get the puppet. I wonder who the mysterious person is. How dare he challenge Qiuming? Doesn't he know what kind of existence Qiuming the god of war is? The city of the Great Tao was bustling. This bet had attracted guests from all over. No matter how valuable the puppet was, the Heavenly Force chapter that had been passed down in the Han family for a long time was the top inheritance in the cultivation world of the universe. Even the major tribes didn't have this kind of inheritance. Only the Han family had it. Now that the Han family had taken out this scripture for a bet, it caused a huge uproar. All the important figures of the various tribes wanted to come and watch the battle. In Qiuming's official residence, in the secret room where he was cultivating in seclusion, a vast amount of life essence was constantly bubbling. Qiuming was like a supreme god. His pores spewed out rich essence power. Just a small amount of essence blood leaked out, but it already affected the void and blurred the world. It seemed like the world was heading towards destruction. Buzz. Strands of life essence leaked out and quickly penetrated Han Weiron's body, causing her aura to constantly strengthen. Because of the tempering of Qiuming's life essence, Han Weiron's cultivation foundation began to strengthen. Every day Han Weiron's strength was improving by leaps and bounds. She was forging the path of the Divine King. It's been 7 days and 7 nights. Qiuming's eyes suddenly opened. He had paid a huge price. With his own life essence, he had laid a shocking foundation for Han Weiran. He had forcibly raised her combat strength by a level. In the future, she would even be able to climb the Divine King faster. No ordinary person would dare to do such a thing. Not even the peak Divine King would dare to do such a thing. But Qiuming was different. He was standing in his golden age, standing in his prime. His blood essence was exuberant to the extreme, so a bit of loss was not a big deal to him. Qiuming also had the confidence to win. Since the end of the auction, he had ordered his subordinates to go home and fetch the ancient books about the workmanship of the gods. Although it was recorded in the foundational ancient records, the series of uncanny workmanship was also exceptionally high. Having said that, even if it was a puppet that was smithied using the uncanny workmanship art, It was still extremely precious and was worth fighting for. There were even records of top-notch puppets that had been created by the god. This was a top secret, and not even the Taoist church had kept such a huge secret. However, Chiu Ming didn't really believe in the top-notch puppets recorded in the book, because it was too outrageous and terrifying. It was absolutely impossible for such a strange thing to exist. He immediately rejected the idea that Su Yan's puppets were definitely not top-notch. Dong dong. Someone knocked on the chamber's door. With a thought from Chiu Ming, the chamber's door opened. An ancient object flew in from the open door. It was a purple object with a dim luster. It had existed for a very long time. It was a large purple seal that emanated the light of the great Tao. This is a treasure of my clan. Han Weiran snapped out of her daze. She was pleasantly surprised. She knew a lot about the treasures of the Han family. This seal was especially amazing and had always been stored in the treasury. Now, the Han family had taken out this supreme treasure for Han Weiran to win in one fell swoop. Boom! Han Weiran flicked her sleeve, and the dim purple seal instantly lit up. The sun, moon, and stars inscribed on the surface of the seal suddenly shone. The brief brilliance caused the secret art to gently sway. The purple seal contained an extremely vast amount of energy. The seal seemed to transform into a giant purple mountain. The sun, moon, and stars revolved around the seal. The seal was pushed to its limit. The sun, moon, and stars filled the sky as they revolved around the seal. It was filled with a peerless strength that could suppress gods and demons. The seal of sun, moon, river, and mountain. Han Weiran's eyes were cold. She said, "My clan also has the sun, moon, river, and mountain painting. Although it's just the embryo of a supreme treasure, its value exceeds the seal of sun, moon, river, and mountain painting. That damn Su Yan stole it from my clan. I really hope that person is Su Yan." Han Weiran stretched out her hand, and the seal of sun, moon, river, and mountain landed in her palm. With this item in hand, she could crush a heavenly god in one move. If Han Weiran's cultivation was strong enough, she could even rely on the seal of sun, moon, river, and mountain to suppress an ordinary divine king cultivator. Of course, with Han Weiran's combat ability, it was probably impossible for her to unleash the seal of sun, moon, river, and mountain to its limit. However, it could soar to the level of a heavenly god. It was enough for her to display her might on the great Tao battle platform. This treasure is not bad. Chiu Ming flicked his sleeve, and an ancient leather drum floated in the void. The leather drum was dark red. It was hard to tell how powerful it was. Chiu Ming said to Han Weiran, "Weiran, I'll let you use this mind-assimilating drum for a while." The mind-assimilating drum? Han Weiran looked at the leather drum. She said, "Brother Chiu Ming, I have a primordial spirit treasure." Chiu Ming smiled mysteriously. The power of his primordial spirit scattered from his glabella and directly hit the mind-assimilating drum. This leather drum looked ordinary, but when it was hit, a strange energy immediately resounded. When it reached Han Weiran's ears, she really felt as if endless thunder and lightning were exploding in her sea of consciousness. At this moment, the secret treasure that guarded her soul core had almost exploded, and Han Weiran's face was ghastly pale as she exclaimed, "The soul-assimilating drum. Big brother Chiu Ming, what level of treasure is this? Even my primordial spirit can't withstand it." "This is a primordial spirit treasure that my clan once bestowed upon me. As long as your cultivation is high enough, the mind-assimilating drum can intimidate the Divine King's primordial spirit." Chiu Ming's words made Han Weiran overjoyed. With this treasure in hand, what powerful enemy could stop her? "Haha, if it's really that little bastard Su Yan, I'll see how he can escape from my hands." Han Weiran was 10,000 times more confident. Was there any suspense in this battle? With the mind-assimilating drum in hand, it would definitely be a tragedy for cultivators of the same generation. Now, the time of the battle was getting closer and closer. There were already many cultivators watching the Great Dao battle platform. This was also the only place in the Great Dao city where martial arts were fought. The Divine King had once fought with his life on the Great Dao battle platform. Let's bet, let's bet. There was also news. Great news. This time, the Great Dao auction house is the banker. What? The Great Dao auction house is the banker? What rules are there? The eyes of some of the elders gathered at the Great Dao battle platform lit up. They hurriedly asked. During the life and death battles on the Great Dao battle platform in the past, many large-scale events would be the banker. However, it was rare for the Great Dao auction house to be the banker. Haha, now the odds are 1 to 10 if he wins. A loud voice exploded in the area, instantly causing a commotion. The odds were a little scary. If Su Yan won, the odds would be 1 to 10. Go to the Great Dao auction house and place your bet. The cultivators gathered at the Great Dao battle platform from all walks of life scattered. Actually, when the Great Dao auction house spread the news, many cultivators had already rushed over to place their bet. The people left behind were dumbfounded. The Great Dao auction? Why would a banker cause such a huge commotion? An old cultivator explained, young people are still inexperienced. There used to be many large merchant associations that acted as the banker. However, after the life and death battle ended, a dark horse appeared, causing these merchant associations to lose so much that they didn't even have their underpants left. They disbanded on the spot. Many young people were dumbfounded. There was such a thing? They had never heard of such a thing. If everyone is betting on the mysterious person to win, if the mysterious person really wins, wouldn't the Great Dao auction house lose a lot of money? Young people, if you say you're inexperienced, then you're inexperienced. What a joke. What kind of status does the Han family have? Even the heavenly scripture has been taken out, and even Xiao Ming is secretly helping. Do you really think the mysterious person can win? An old man put on airs and lectured. That's true. If we bet on Han Weiran to win, how much money can we win? I have 500 kilograms of chaos material on me. If I bet on the mysterious person to win, wouldn't I make a lot of money? Of course, he was just thinking about it. After all, Xiao Ming was a peerless king who had never been defeated in his life. Han Weiran's chances of winning were too high. Even if the mysterious person's odds were scary, there were too few cultivators who bet on him to win. The mysterious person is said to be friends with the old Star Lord. Do you think he will win? It's hard to say. I also want to bet. How much chaos material do you have? I have more than 2,000 kilograms on me. Little Lion King and the others gathered together to discuss. They had gathered a lot of assets, a total of 8,000 kilograms of chaos material. They were prepared to bet all their money on the mysterious person to win. A gambling storm began with great grandeur. The gambling battle had yet to progress, but the Great Dao auction house was bustling with activity. The banker was none other than Divine King Kong Bo. This caused a group of appraisers in the auction house to blow their beards and stare. Was King Kongpa so sure that Su Yan would win? He was the one who suggested this. Although Su Yan had a powerful person by his side, it was hard to say what the result would be if Xiao Ming helped Han Weiran. King Kongpo was also under great pressure. If he really lost, he would not be able to report back. However, a prehistoric big brother who used the 5-colored battle flag with his bare hands made King Kongpa confident. Victory or defeat depended on this. If he really won the bet, he would become a famous tycoon in the Divine King realm. It was not rare to see gambling in the Great Dao city. There were many cultivators who came to bet, and the amount was getting bigger and bigger. King Kongpa's mouth was dry. The final wealth of this bet was estimated to exceed 500 kilograms of chaos material. It might even be more frightening. As for Su Yan's place of seclusion in the quiet secret room, the sound of heartbeats kept exploding. It was like the beating of a divine drum, shaking heaven and earth. Su Yen seemed to have turned into a strange stone of heaven and earth. He was swallowing the essence of the sun and moon, the source of the universe, and the essence of hundreds of heavenly materials and earthly treasures in the medicine field. The accumulation of his self-sealed physical body was getting thicker and thicker. At the same time, the divine power of the great Tao that had been boiling in Su Yan's body for several days suddenly increased by a large amount on this day. Su Yan had broken through and stepped into the realm of peak-level deities. The energy source in his body also condensed together and turned into a chaotic eye. The eye of the ocean suddenly expanded. Su Yan's aura was also extremely terrifying and shocking. Even in the situation where he sealed his physical body, he was so heavy that he wanted to crush the stars in the sky. Even the divine power in Su Yan's body was about to pour out and penetrate the peak of the sky to prove the realm of the heavenly God. The Nine Heavens Divine Emperor. Chapter 967. What kind of manifestation was this? Su Yan was about to become a heavenly god. After all, his accumulation was too shocking. Moreover, the great Tao divine power in his body at the peak of the God-spirit realm was not inferior to a heavenly god cultivator. When Su Yan stepped into the God-spirit realm in the past, he had fused with the chaotic source Qi, which was known as the strongest substance in the origin Qi. When Su Yan stepped into the peak of the God-spirit realm, a portion of the chaotic source Qi's potential was excavated. At this moment, Su Yan was powerful and shocking. His body shone like the condensed eye of the chaotic sea, filled with peerless power that could crush the universe. He could easily destroy a part of the spacetime. Even the aura in Su Yan's body leaked out uncontrollably, overflowing with light. Boom! Divine power rose and fell behind Su Yan, one layer after another. 9 layers of great Tao divine power surged out, each layer stronger than the last, until the 9th layer was stretched out. This was the scene of waves crashing into the sky. Hold on! Su Yan roared in his heart. He had not reached the time for a breakthrough yet. Su Yan could still continue to nourish his body. When the nourishment reached a certain limit, Su Yan would then step into the heavenly God spirit realm. He wanted to use his body as the Tao and not use the great Tao of the universe to penetrate into the heavenly God spirit realm. If he broke through now, all his previous efforts would be wasted. Boom! Su Yan's aura swallowed the mountains and rivers. The eye of the chaotic sea in his body shone, forcefully suppressing the leaked energy into the sealed flesh shell. His body's aura was also infinitely stronger and more powerful. His body was emitting chaotic Qi, and his treasure body was emitting the supreme energy of the Mother of all things. This was the effect of the chaotic source Qi. It merged with Su Yan and was filled with the power to control the chaos. The peak of the God spirit realm. Even if my body is sealed, with the power of the chaotic source Qi, my combat strength is still strong enough. Su Yan's every move exuded a powerful deterrent force that could shake the sky. Previously, he was suspected to be a heavenly god spirit realm powerhouse with the power of his body. Now, he was relying on his potential to excavate a portion of the chaotic source Qi. Su Yan was more like a heavenly god spirit realm powerhouse. Then, he fell silent as well. Previously, when he was about to pierce through the sky, Su Yan had a kind of enlightenment, an understanding of the domain of the heavenly god realm. What was a heavenly god? From man to heaven, when one cultivated to this stage, one would be able to pierce through the heavens and become a part of the great Tao of the universe. Once one cultivated to this stage, one would be an expert among experts. One could easily suppress a part of the universe and use it for one's own use. Heavenly God realm, borrowing the energy of the universe to become a powerhouse among the heavenly gods. However, if I use the Tao of the physical body to open up a shortcut and walk the path of the heavenly God realm, I will be strengthening myself, becoming infinitely stronger. At that time, my potential in the heavenly God realm will also be strong enough. Su Yen thought to himself that the universe was ultimately incomplete and could not be compared to the prehistoric heaven and earth. Then, with the physical body as the Tao, he would be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with the strongest in history. He might even be qualified to surpass the ancients and surpass himself. Now, he felt more and more that this path was feasible. Once he broke through, his future potential would be limitless. However, this path was also difficult. It was not something that could be crossed easily. No matter what, he had to face a series of great calamities. Su Yan's battle prowess had also improved greatly. His mouth and nose were breathing out primal chaos chi. Su Yan felt the power of the primal chaos chi in his body. He even had the mentality of swallowing the primal chaos in the sky and becoming the king of primal chaos. No wonder the origin chi is so valuable. The young overlords of the past all wanted to obtain the top-grade matter within the origin chi. This thing is really, the more potential it unearthed, the stronger its effect. The primal chaos chi is the most valuable matter within the origin chi. One day, I will release all of its potential. Su Yen stood up and pushed open the door of the secret room. The entire courtyard was filled with the fragrance of wine. Su Yen followed the smell and saw the prehistoric Big Brother drinking to his heart's content. Su Yen scratched his head and felt a little sorry for Bamboo Moon. Bamboo Moon, on the other hand, was grinning from ear to ear. Su Yen guessed that the prehistoric Big Brother might have imparted some secret technique to Bamboo Moon. You finally came out of seclusion. Bamboo Moon's eyes were overflowing with color. She glanced at Su Yen and reminded him, "This is the last day. It's almost time for the battle." Hee, what secret technique did Big Brother impart to you? Su Yan's expression was a little awkward. Last time, he saw Bamboo Moon naked. She was definitely still angry. Hearing this, Bamboo Moon's eyes shone with joy. Clearly, the thing that the prehistoric Big Brother took out was not ordinary. Even in the Sky Bamboo lineage, this secret technique was enough to be considered the clan's greatest inheritance. Even the clan's greatest inheritance was not something that Bamboo Moon could easily obtain. Even if she could obtain the secret technique, it might not be suitable for Bamboo Moon. The secret technique that the prehistoric Big Brother imparted to Bamboo Moon was enough to unleash the power of her constitution to the extreme. Bamboo Moon felt that after refining the Star Moon fruit and cultivating in seclusion for a period of time, the Divine King's realm would not be difficult. Bamboo Moon was especially respectful to the prehistoric Big Brother. At the same time, she said to Su Yen, "Now is not the time to talk about this. How are your preparations?" "No problem," Su Yen said confidently. "No matter how strong Qiuming is, it's impossible for him to raise Han Weiron's combat ability to the Divine King's realm. Since the battle on the Great Tao battle platform is about to begin, I think we should hand over the human-shaped puppet to the Taoist Church." Su Yen coveted the Han family's Heavenly Momentum chapter. If he could successfully obtain this item, Su Yen was confident that he could raise the Qi Men's realm to the 7th stage realm. Once he stepped into this realm, it would be completely different. The power of the Qi Men would increase exponentially. Generally speaking, 7th stage Qi Men's realm was vast and powerful. They would be able to fight against the Divine King. "It's good that you are confident." Although Bamboo Moon was a little worried, she was also confident in Su Yen. Moreover, he had cultivated the eyes of the universe. This was his true trump card, known as the strongest heavenly eye in history. Although he did not have any secret techniques to complement it, the eyes of the universe alone was enough to look down on his peers. After waiting for the prehistoric Big Brother to finish the last jar of wine, Su Yen and the others left the side courtyard. There were a few stewards waiting outside the side courtyard. They all had strange expressions on their faces. In about 10 days, they had practically eaten a mountain of primordial chaos. If it weren't for the discount Bamboo Moon enjoyed, their expenses in the heavenly abode would have been astronomical. Even the Divine King wouldn't be able to afford it. How much? Su Yan was shocked. A total of 15,000 kilograms of primordial chaos. Just how much wine had the prehistoric Big Brother drunk while he was in seclusion? However, to Bamboo Moon, no amount of money could compare to the secret techniques that the prehistoric Big Brother had passed on to her. Let's put it on credit first. We'll go back to the family to get it. Bamboo Moon's words made Su Yan's expression change. How could this be put on credit? However, in the heavenly abode, only the experts of the heavenly bamboo lineage could do this. Bamboo Moon was not worried about the money for the wine. The 5-colored war flag of the heavenly bamboo lineage was still in the prehistoric Big Brother's hands. Calculating the time, the experts of the heavenly bamboo lineage should be arriving soon. Although the clan was a hegemon in the Chaos Ruins, to provoke an almighty? The heavenly bamboo lineage had not gone crazy. When the time came, they would really have to pay a certain price to bring the 5-colored war flag back to the clan. Even Zhu Yu had the backing of a powerful being, so her status in the clan was even higher. In short, it was Zhu Yinsai's own fault. Attacking a powerful being? If the clan's elders found out about this, she would definitely suffer. Miss, take care. The steward of the heavenly abode was full of smiles as he respectfully sent them out. Just as they stepped out of the heavenly abode, Su Yan's expression turned cold. This was because a group of Han family disciples had gathered outside. Even Han Kong was among them. You're finally out. Han Kang's expression was gloomy. He walked up and said, It's almost time for the battle. The Han family's heavenly scripture has already been handed over to the experts of the Taoist temple. Where's your humanoid puppet? Don't tell me you're going to give up on the battle. The eunuch is more anxious than the emperor. Su Yan cast a sidelong glance at Hong Kong and said coldly, You're worrying too much. You're about to die, yet you're still so arrogant. Hong Kong immediately sneered. Kid, I'd like to see how many rounds you can last on the Great Tao battle stage. By the way, I'll tell you that I've bet a total of 5,000 kilograms of chaos material at the Great Tao auction house. My Han family even bet 100,000 kilograms of chaos material that you'll definitely die. Hundreds of thousands of kilograms of primal chaos treasures was a huge gamble for a clan. Although they wouldn't win much, the Han family didn't mind stirring up a storm. This way, they could strengthen Han Weiron's reputation. Su Yan was stunned. They had actually started a bet. Come, let's go to the Great Tao auction house. Su Yan was also prepared to go and take a look. At the same time, he could also take a gamble. Who knows, he might even be able to make a huge profit. Although he did not have any more chaos material on him, Su Yan could use treasures as collateral. It's closed now, Bamboo Moon said telepathically. I've already bet 10,000 kilograms of chaos material for you. Only 10,000 kilograms? Su Yan was stunned. He said telepathically, Why didn't you bet more? If you win, you'll definitely make a fortune. I also bet 10,000 kilograms of chaos material. That's with treasures. Do you think 20,000 kilograms of chaos material is cabbage? Bamboo Moon snorted and said telepathically, Be content. If you win, you'll make 10 times the profit. But if you bet too much, the Great Tao auction house will adjust the odds accordingly. 1 to 10? Su Yan was speechless. This was crazy. If he really won, the wealth he would earn would be unimaginable. But to bet 10,000 kilograms of chaos material, he would be a rich man. Even if the Divine King gambled, 500 kilograms of chaos material would be his limit. If he lost, he lost. If he won, he would make a fortune. Of course, there were very few people who bet on Su Yan. Otherwise, there would not be a 1 to 10 payout. Boom! On the east street of the Great Tao City, the light of the Great Tao suddenly surged into the sky, illuminating the starry sky. It was as if a slumbering Great Tao dragon had awakened, releasing ancient fluctuations. The commotion was too spectacular. In the vast Great Tao City, everyone in the universe felt a terrifying pressure being released from the East Street. A majestic battle platform rose into the sky, releasing the light of the Great Tao. It was extremely brilliant. The battle platform has appeared. Why aren't you on it? Hong Kong and the others followed Su Yen closely, afraid that he would escape at the critical moment. They kept urging him, "It's too late to admit defeat now." Chapter 968. Su Yen glared at Hong Kong. This kid was like a sticky plaster. He couldn't get rid of him. Under Su Yan's gaze, Han Kang's vision turned black. He staggered and almost fell to the ground. He felt his scalp split open and his primordial spirit sank into the boundless darkness. The process terrified him. "Hong Kong, what's wrong?" After an unknown amount of time, Hong Kong gradually recovered from the hopeless situation. His spirit seemed to have been injured. His face was pale as he said in horror, "Quick, go and tell the family. This person has mastered a shocking eye technique. Even someone as strong as me couldn't guard against it and fell into it directly." "What? Your mind was controlled just now?" The young people of the Han family were shocked. Hong Kong was also an outstanding young cultivator. However, even with Han Kang's combat strength, he couldn't withstand the might of Su Yan's gaze. His mind was about to sink into the purgatory of Qianquan. However, it was too late now. Su Yan had already left for a while. He should have reached the Great Path battle platform by now. Cold sweat broke out on Han Kang's forehead. He had seriously underestimated this person's combat strength. If Han Weiran wasn't prepared enough, she would be in big trouble. The battle is finally about to start. Where is the mysterious person? The East Main Street was bustling with people. The battle that they had been waiting for finally began. The Great Path battle platform lay in the void, filled with an ancient aura. This battle platform was rarely opened. Once, the Divine King had died in battle, young overlords had suffered grievances, and heavenly supremes had shed blood on the battle platform. In short, the Great Path battle platform of the Great Path City had drunk the blood of gods and demons. It had existed for many eras of the universe. This also caused the entire platform to emit a billowing murderous aura. No one dared to approach it. This battle platform is probably 100,000 miles away. The strong cultivators watched. The Great Path battle platform contained the power of time and space. Originally, one could see the entire Great Path battle platform with a single glance. However, in the process of watching, one could only see a corner of the Great Path battle platform. The entire platform was filled with the light of the Great Path. However, it contained a murderous aura that intimidated people's souls. Boom! Suddenly, people saw a figure streak through the space. Because of the leakage of his own energy, the space collapsed. This figure pulled the broken space and penetrated onto the battle platform. Along the way, many cultivators trembled, the blood and chi within their bodies surging endlessly, all of their expressions horrified. They truly didn't feel like this was a heavenly deity, because the energy was a bit too majestic. What a Chiu Ming! The Iron Blood King had also come to watch the battle. He looked at the woman in the red dress standing on the battle platform, and a cold look flashed in his eyes. He could see through Han Weiran's situation. It was definitely Chiu Ming who had raised Han Weiran's combat ability. Otherwise, Han Weiran wouldn't be unable to control the energy in her body. However, the energy that leaked out was already vast enough, not to mention the fighting strength of Han Weiran's body. Han Weiran will win. She will win. The entire place was in an uproar. Many creatures who had bet on Han Weiran's victory were shouting loudly to boost her morale. Many of them had bet more than half of their wealth. There was even a Han family that had brought out 100,000 kilograms of primal chaos treasures to bet. The place was filled with a boiling cauldron of voices, surging with passion and momentum. I hope he really is Su Yan. The old grandmaster of the Han family was looking forward to it. He had been envious of the geography chapter for a long time. Han Weiran stood proudly on the battle platform. Everyone's attention made her feel especially proud. She raised her chin like a proud white swan and said coldly, "Nobody, hurry up and get on the platform." The people of the Han family were full of smiles, very satisfied with Han Weiran's performance. Today could be said to be the battle that made Han Weiran famous. Once this battle ended, Han Weiran's reputation among her peers would definitely skyrocket. "Nobody, why don't you show yourself?" Han Weiran frowned, full of majesty. She looked around and shouted, "It's too late to admit defeat now. Get on the platform and show yourself." "Little brother, what's the rush?" A chuckle came. "Isn't it good to let you show off your power and talent on the platform? Be **starred. Han Weiran's eyes instantly locked onto a young man who was walking towards her. She said angrily, "So this is your true face. Boy, get on the platform now." Su Yen looked at King Kongpa and asked, "Did you bring the heavenly scripture?" The cultivators of the Han family sneered. He was about to die, but he still cared about the heavenly scripture? Moreover, even if Han Weiran really lost, he couldn't take the heavenly scripture away, unless he could ask a powerful cultivator to protect him. The heavenly scripture was the lifeblood of the Han family. They couldn't let the inheritance leak. King Kongpa nodded at Su Yen. Although they couldn't fully verify it, the Han family's items were 99% authentic. Unless the Han family didn't want to live anymore and dared to deceive the Taoist temple. Su Yen also threw the human-shaped puppet out. King Kongpa reached out and grabbed the human-shaped puppet. This process attracted the attention of many people, who wanted to know what was so special about this thing. Buzz. Suddenly, an extremely resplendent pupil opened. Chiu Ming suddenly appeared. His figure was faintly discernible in the void, and his eyes stared at the human-shaped puppet without blinking. He wanted to see through the puppet's authenticity. This scene made the divine King Hong Kong frown. "Chiu Ming, when the battle is over, the ownership of this item is still a problem. Hee, what's wrong with letting my big brother Chiu Ming take a look now? It'll be mine sooner or later anyway." Han Weiran said disdainfully, "Look at this kid, he's just a weakling. He's just a boy who delivers treasures." "Little brother, don't be so arrogant." Su Yen shook his head and laughed. "Don't cry when you lose later. You piece of trash, get up here." Han Weiran was furious. Her eyes widened, and her entire body rippled with thick heavenly god energy, causing the void to distort violently. The dormant energy in her body even shook the heavens. It was an extremely shocking scene. Even the heavenly gods of the same generation were shocked. It was as if they were really seeing a war god of the heavens. Under her fury, the sun and moon shook, and the heavens were about to collapse. Swoosh! Suddenly, everyone saw a shadow. It was completely in the time of lightning and fire. She charged towards the Great Path battle platform. "Get down, I'll defeat you in one move." Han Weiran began to erupt once again. The divine energy in her body surged violently. It was an exceptionally ferocious scene. At this moment, Han Weiran didn't look like a heavenly god. She was like a king walking on the path of the divine king. Han Weiran's jade-like hand covered the sky. The back of her hand pushed open the heavens. Her palm was like a condensed sea of stars, gushing with brilliant light. When it slammed down in an instant, the void exploded. The huge palm covered the entrance of the Great Path battle platform. This palm was fast, accurate, and ruthless, causing all the cultivators present to cry out in surprise. No one thought that Han Weiran would be so strong. Some people already saw that the blurry figure on the platform was shattered into pieces. It seemed to have been smashed into a pile of ashes. This is too. Some cultivators were dumbfounded. This was too fast, wasn't it? Could it be that the victor had been decided in just one move? So fast. However, some old cultivators' expressions changed. They were stunned by Su Yan's thunderous movements. The moment Han Weiran swung her palm down, Su Yan had already stepped onto the Great Path battle platform. Who exactly is he? The Iron Blood King was suspicious. He had seen Su Yan in the tavern before. This person had boasted shamelessly that he was Su Yan. The Iron Blood King had never thought that the person who stepped onto the platform would be him. Su Yan's speed moved the Iron Blood King. This shrinking earth into an inch had really been cultivated to an extreme. Under this shrinking earth into an inch domain, Su Yan stepped onto the Great Path battle platform. Boom! Han Weiran was a little embarrassed and angry. She released all of her divine power, like a river bursting through a dam. Her own energy poured out and covered the entire Great Path battle platform. She also pushed the boundless source of energy towards Su Yan's thousands of layers of fury. "I am the starry sky," Han Weiran shouted, and the scene she created was shocking. It was as if a real starry sky was born, giving birth to the sun, the moon, the stars, and the universe. It even gave birth to the momentum of the heavens, causing the entire Great Path battle platform to turn into a giant purgatory space. It was as if a condensed starry sky world was blooming. The Han family's ultimate technique, the power of the heavenly momentum chapter of the Way of the Strange Gate. Han Weiran is strong enough. If combined with the power of the Strange Gate secret technique, she will reach a higher level. She must not be underestimated. Many people discussed animatedly. They had a certain level of confidence in Han Weiran. Now, the ultimate technique of the Strange Gate secret technique bloomed on the Great Path battle platform. Han Weiran used her own power to evolve the momentum of the heavens, wanting to forcibly suppress Su Yan. Be suppressed. The divine power all over the sky combined together. The divine power was torrential, and the energy storm that approached the king's domain began to sweep towards Su Yan at an astonishing speed. What amazing energy! Han Weiran's foundation is too strong. It's beyond my understanding. Who can withstand such fierce energy suppression? Moreover, with the momentum of the heavens, how many cultivators of the same generation can withstand it? This person is in for a bad time. The storm of divine power all over the sky, like thunder, bombarded the figure standing on the platform. Han Weiran had a mentality. She wanted to suppress Su Yan directly. She wanted to make him submit to her peerless mentality. Buzz! The energy was vast. Everything became blurry and shattered in the trembling. In fact, from the beginning of the battle, Su Yan appeared to be extremely mysterious. Amidst the apocalyptic starry sky world, his figure was hazy and indistinct, seeming somewhat unreal. Some people saw him disappear, while others felt that he had shattered. All of this was because Su Yan's speed was too fast. His afterimage was left behind in the void. His speed was so fast that even the experts of the older generation could not catch his track. This caused them to be shocked. Boom! Su Yan's self-sealed physical body was hazy with chaotic energy. His body was too heavy. When he moved, the Great Path battle platform emitted a deafening roar. Facing the overwhelming divine power source, Su Yan swooped down just like that. His physical body soared with chaotic light. Su Yan's aura skyrocketed. His figure was like a halberd that cut through the battlefield, bright and dazzling. Boom! The surging divine power that filled the sky was penetrated by the dazzling light. It was blown apart by the peerless power. How valiant was Su Yan! When his battle blood boiled, strange phenomena appeared. He seemed to be standing at the top of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. With a torrential murderous aura, he struck to the end of the earth. Chapter 969. What a shocking killing intent! The Iron Blood King was moved again. He had fought his way out of difficult situations since he was young. But now, a figure had appeared on the great Tao battle platform. It was as if he was standing on top of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. This was a ruthless person who had fought his way out of a life and death situation. Just the spiritual will he released, that kind of invincible self-confidence, was enough to shock Han Weiran until her spirit was distorted. This wasn't a secret technique, but a deterrent force that originated from Su Yan himself. Han Weiran felt as if she was in the middle of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. In this world of blood, she felt like she was going to be devoured and buried in a demon's den. The strong cultivators of the older generation were all moved. This was a ruthless person, not a soft persimmon. He had cultivated an invincible belief and fought his whole life. It must be him. It must be this evil creature. At this moment, the old grandmaster of the Han family was almost certain that he was Su Yan. Just this ferocious aura alone wasn't something an ordinary person could produce. Only those who had experienced life and death situations could develop such a demonic aura. Buzz. A great Dao crystal around Han Weiran's neck suddenly lit up. The sound of Dao inside was like a condensed Xiao Ming sitting cross-legged in it, chanting the scriptures of the great Dao. It cleansed Han Weiran of the ferocious aura that had invaded her spiritual sea, allowing her to walk out of the spiritual shock. Damn it! The scene in front of her eyes became clear again. The mountain of corpses and the sea of blood shattered. Han Weiran's expression changed. She was actually frightened. If this spread out, she would be laughed at. Fortunately, Xiao Ming had given her a great Dao crystal that helped her resolve the spiritual shock. If it wasn't for the timely reminder, the consequences would be unimaginable. Once she fell, the Han family couldn't afford to lose face like this. Even now, Su Yan was infinitely close to Han Weiran. Billowing killing intent swept over. Whoosh! Han Weiran suddenly raised her hand. Her entire arm was sparkling and translucent like jade. Her entire arm returned to nothingness, but the faint energy fluctuations that seeped out filled the vast Great Path battle platform with an invisible field, accompanied by a shocking sense of oppression. Sky-lifting hand. The expressions of all the experts changed. This was the Han family's ultimate technique, the heavens-raising hand. Once this great mystique was unleashed, one could control the universe. It was worthy of being called a peak technique of the celestial god realm. When it erupted, the space of the great Dao battle platform seemed to have transformed into a blurry giant palm, emitting a source of energy that could destroy the world. "I'll send you to hell," Han Weiran sneered. She discovered that the amount of energy Su Yan had accumulated was not very high. He should have just stepped into the heavenly god realm. However, there was an entire 8 minor realms between them. Could she really suppress Su Yan with brute force? Rumble! It was a scene of heaven and earth collapsing. The skyscraping hand gathered the power of the great law battle platform and wanted to settle the situation with one palm. This was a divine ability that could overturn rivers and seas. The energy fluctuations that spread out made the heavenly gods outside the battlefield tremble. How vast was this divine energy source? It was so powerful that it was boundless. She, Han Weiran, was already so powerful, so when Zhu Tian and the others stepped into the peak of the heavenly god realm, just how much energy would they be able to nurture? "Your mouth really stinks. If you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." Han Weiran spoke arrogantly again and again, completely infuriating Su Yan. Boom! He rose from the ground like lightning, and his aura spread out, causing the stars in the sky to tremble. It was hard to imagine just how heavy Su Yan's aura was. It could ignore the skyscraping hand's domain. How can it be so heavy? What did he do? The energy has undergone a qualitative change. It's ridiculously heavy. What kind of ultimate technique is this? It's hard to say. His strength is actually able to suppress the stars in the sky. It's really inconceivable, and this is still in a state of accumulation. Even an existence like the Iron Blood King, with his strength, could not compare. It was very easy for him to cause a commotion like Su Yan. However, Su Yan's cultivation level was clearly not high enough. However, the energy fluctuations that he was leaking now actually caused the stars in the sky to tremble. Just how heavy was the energy domain he had condensed? This was the effect of the primal chaos origin chi. Although only a portion of the divine might was excavated, this strongest substance in history was already shocking enough. How could it be as simple as it was said to be? If it really erupted, it would be enough to shock the world. Buzz. Su Yan's figure blazed with radiance. His body transformed into the eye of the primal chaos sea. There were millions of great Daos inside, and the primal chaos seemed to contain a universe of great Daos. It emitted a monstrous divine might of the great Tao. Su Yan finally released his strongest divine power, and his aura directly went berserk. Boom! A resplendent comet rose from the ground, tearing the sky apart and shattering the stars in the universe. The scene was spectacular to the extreme. This was the extremely heavy power that was stored in the eye of the Chaos Sea. It rose from the ground like a monstrous meteor shower that shot into the 9 heavens, creating a shocking scene. Moreover, the power of thousands of Daos was manifested, transforming into a heaven-piercing halberd that could strike the world and cleaved forward. Pft! Under the incredulous eyes of many present, the hand that held up the sky shattered. It was penetrated by Su Yan's figure and split into 2. His entire body even pulled a violent energy tornado. The great Tao rippled like the sea, and all kinds of strange phenomena filled the sky. It was as though a wall of great Tao had been formed, and in an instant, it charged straight at Han Weiran. Be careful! The old grandmaster of the Han family was furious. How did Su Yan suddenly become so strong? Regarding the matter of him controlling the primal chaos origin chi, no one except Zhu Tian knew. Since a portion of the divine might had been excavated, it was enough to display a portion of the king of chaos effects. Swish, swish. Han Weiran anxiously released the strongest energy in her body in an attempt to resist. However, even with the vast amount of energy, it was still shattered and trembled in the face of the violent force that could cleave all energy and matter. This place was completely berserk. Su Yan's energy and Han Weiran's energy collided, causing a deafening explosion. Ah! Han Weiran let out a blood-curdling scream. She coughed out a mouthful of blood from the impact of the energy storm. Her figure was like a kite with a broken string as she was sent flying. Not good! Everyone was aghast. How could such a ridiculous thing happen? Han Weiran's divine power clearly surpassed Su Yan's by several levels, but how could Han Weiran be defeated? The Iron Blood King couldn't understand. No matter how strong Su Yan was, the essence of divine power couldn't be changed. She, Han Weiran, wasn't weak, but how could Su Yan send this woman flying in such a tyrannical manner? Only Chiu Ming's face turned gloomy. That was because Chiu Ming also controlled the primal chaos origin chi, and he understood the effects of this treasure very well. He really didn't expect Su Yan to control the primal chaos origin chi. With the help of such a rare item, it would be difficult for him, Su Yan, not to grow in the future. This kid can't be left alive. Chiu Ming's eyes were filled with murderous intent. Han Weiran hadn't been defeated yet. Once the assimilating god drum was used, Su Yan would definitely die. After all, that thing, when used to a certain extent, could intimidate the primordial spirit of the Divine King, let alone Su Yan who had just stepped into the divine realm. Heavens, what is he trying to do? Is he crazy? The whole place was in an uproar. Many people felt their scalps go numb and their legs go weak. They were frightened by Su Yan's actions. The scene on the Great Tao battle platform exceeded the expectations of all the cultivators. That mysterious person descended from the sky like a demon god descending upon the world. His hair danced wildly, and his entire body rippled with murderous intent. Could it be that this person wanted to kill Han Weiran directly? The result shocked them. This person was really going to kill. His entire body released a terrifying light as he descended from the sky. He raised his foot and ruthlessly stomped on Han Weiran, who was coughing up blood. This stomp was as heavy as the abyss and filled with the domineering aura of a demon god. This lunatic wants to stomp Han Weiran to death. Everyone was frightened by Su Yan's actions. Han Weiran was Qiu Ming's woman. Although it was not proven, with her relationship with Qiu Ming, who would dare to kill Han Weiran. But now, a lunatic had come to the great Dao city and wanted to stomp Han Weiran to death. King Kongpo was dumbfounded. Su Yan, who had a powerful elder brother, was so fierce? Once he stomped Han Weiran to death, the grudge between the two was destined to be irreconcilable. You bastard! Facing the golden foot descending from the sky, Han Weiran was about to go crazy. She had never suffered such great humiliation. Never. Boom. Suddenly, shocking waves surged from behind Han Weiran. A huge seal soared into the sky, spewing out the sun, moon, and stars. The seal of sun, moon, river, and mountain was released. The sun, moon, and stars in the sky revolved around the seal and blasted towards Su Yan. Boom. A deafening explosion shook the entire place. The figure that descended from the sky was extremely domineering. His feet stomped on the seal. Su Yan's body steamed with chaotic light as if he was going to crush the heavens. The divine king was stunned. How did Su Yan do it? He suppressed the seal of sun, moon, river, and mountain with his divine power alone. It was true that it was divine power, but it was the concentrated chaotic Ci, the power of the chaotic origin Qi. This energy was heavier than a universe star. It temporarily suppressed the seal of sun, moon, river, and mountain, making Su Yan terrifying beyond compare. Suppress! Su Yan roared. His divine power boiled and weighed billions of kilograms. This was simply a king stepping on the sun, moon, river, and mountain to descend to the mortal realm and reign over the world. Han Weiran was terrified. Facing Su Yan's great power, she felt that she was going to be crushed into meat paste. Go to hell. Han Weiran's face was so malevolent that it almost twisted. When had she ever experienced such humiliation? Her glabella instantly glowed, and an earthy yellow leather drum rolled out. The moment this ancient object appeared, it gave Su Yan a certain amount of shock. Su Yan's long black hair draped over his shoulders. He was like a supreme being standing above the sun, moon, river, and mountain. He was like a supreme king overlooking the world. His deep eyes were like the grand ancient universe world, releasing a mysterious light. Give it to me! Su Yan shouted. The radiance released by his eyes was reflected in Han Weiran's eyes. It was as if the vast ancient universe world had bloomed, causing Han Weiran to sink into it. At this moment, Han Weiran was like a walking corpse. She walked over step by step and held the god-assimilating drum with both hands, presenting it to Su Yan. One more at night. Damn it, writing is as tiring as a dog. Saving drafts is cleaner than my face. This book came from Chapter 970. All the cultivators present were dumbfounded. One by one, they were flabbergasted. Even the divine king of the older generation rubbed his eyes, thinking that his eyes were playing tricks on him. How could such a ridiculous thing happen? He had never heard of such a thing before. Scoundrel, Han Weiran, what are you doing, ah? The old grandmaster of the Han family was trembling with anger. He pointed a finger at Han Weiran. He was about to explode from anger because of Han Weiran's actions. No one knew what kind of evil thing was happening. Han Weiran couldn't have turned traitor, right? Now, they saw Han Weiran holding an ancient object in her hands and presenting it to Su Yan. She looked like Su Yan's female slave, and her attitude was extremely docile. Very few people noticed that Su Yan's pupils were seething with a strange sheen, and it faintly seemed like numerous complete grand daos of the world were interweaved and bloomed within his pupils, causing it to be so terrifying that it really seemed as if the world of the ages was floating and glowing within his eyes. Su Yan's eyes were like the complete great Tao of heaven and earth. The two great Tao of heaven and earth were so deep, vast, grand, and magnificent that they couldn't be traced back to their source. Is this Han Weiran's trump card? Bamboo Moon thought to herself. Since this drum appeared at this time, it definitely wasn't simple. However, Su Yan directly used the eye of heaven and earth at the critical moment to lock onto Han Weiran's mind and make her present the drum to Su Yan. In fact, Bamboo Moon wasn't surprised. Firstly, Han Weiran was the most noble daughter of the Han family. Coupled with her relationship with Chiu Ming, the Han family was reluctant to let Han Weiran go on adventures and gain experience. After all, they were worried that something would happen to Han Weiran. This also caused Han Weiran to experience very few battles. She had to fight against Su Yan, who had killed his way out of countless desperate situations. Even if Han Weiran's combat strength surpassed Su Yan's, she still wouldn't be his match. Also, the Eye of Heaven and Earth was extremely powerful. Cultivators with weak willpower wouldn't be able to withstand the Eye of Heaven and Earth's intimidation. Only existences like the Iron Blood King could barely resist the Eye of Heaven and Earth. Of course, with Su Yan's current cultivation, the Eye of Heaven and Earth wouldn't be able to threaten the Divine King. However, once he was strong enough, the Eye of Heaven and Earth would be terrifying enough. What is she doing? Hong Kong was about to go crazy. He quickly figured it out. It was definitely Su Yan's eye technique that affected Han Weiran. This was driving Hong Kong crazy. Once Han Weiran lost, the Han family would have to face 3 bloody blows from Su Yan. Their grand superpower, the ancestor of the occult sect, had actually lost to Su Yan consecutively. This kind of humiliation was unbearable for the Han family. They all had the feeling of skinning Han Weiran alive. Humph! A cold voice exploded, accompanied by a vast divine aura. The brilliance was dazzling to the extreme. In the great Tao city, an ancient sun suddenly rose. It burned fiercely and surged with a monstrous light, causing the vast sky to tremble. Shocking energy ripples spread out, causing the cultivators in the field to tremble. Even the peak heavenly god experts were trembling with fear. Even the Iron Blood King's hair stood on end. He felt that a supreme existence had awakened here and was looking down on the world. This made the Iron Blood King panic, and a chill gushed out from his heart. What a Chiu Ming! The Iron Blood King stared at the awakened figure. At this moment, Chiu Ming's divine aura shook the heavens. He was fully deserving of the title of a supreme king. The Divine King experts gathered here were all shocked. The foundation he had accumulated was truly frightening. In particular, this cold snort shook the heavens and the earth, transmitting to the great Tao battle platform. Humph! King Kongpa also snorted coldly. This Chiu Ming was really arrogant. Did he think that the great Tao battle platform could be shaken at will? This was a battle platform that had been strengthened by the power of a mighty figure. The Divine King alone couldn't affect this battle. As expected, the great Tao battle platform shone on its own. It was solemn and serene, isolating Chiu Ming's sound waves. Chiu Ming's expression was cold. Humiliating Han Weiran was the same as humiliating him. Although Chiu Ming and Han Weiran didn't have a real relationship in name, everyone knew about their relationship. Chiu Ming's aura became even stronger. All the pores on his body spewed out endless divine light. His aura skyrocketed, shaking the surrounding onlookers so much that their blood was churning. They were about to fall to the ground. Enough! King Kongpa scolded angrily. Chiu Ming, you dare to disrupt the battle on the great Tao battle platform. You are an enemy of the entire Tao Church. This voice was powerful enough to intimidate Chiu Ming, making him furious. However, he really didn't dare to make a move. Once he broke the rules, it would be equivalent to disrespecting the Tao Church. If word got out, it would be a blow to his reputation. Seems like she's about to wake up. At this moment, the great Tao crystal on Han Weiran's neck shone. It lit up a divine lamp for Han Weiran, who was lost in the void, and illuminated the darkness. Han Weiran's dull eyes began to clear. She struggled, showing signs of coming back to her senses. Even the power of the primordial spirit between her eyebrows began to gather, wanting to strike the soul-assimilating drum. "What are you waiting for?" Su Yen emitted a thunderous voice. His figure stood tall and his aura soared into the sky. His deep eyes faintly turned golden. His eyes were filled with a terrifying aura. It was as if two great ancient Qian Kuan worlds were shaking. It gave Han Weiran the shock of the universe's end. She was about to crawl before Su Yen and tremble. What a terrifying pair of eyes! In the field, the Divine King's expression changed again and again. What kind of eye technique was this? They had never heard of it. The Qian Kuan eye was too ancient. There were many eye techniques in the world. Even old monsters found it difficult to see through Su Yan's eye technique. In short, under the reflection of the golden eyes, Han Weiran fell into a daze once again. She held the leather drum with both hands and presented it to Su Yen. Wow! The whole field was in an uproar. They couldn't believe it. Even the Divine King felt that it was very difficult. It was too difficult to control a celestial god with just eye technique. Of course, the reason why Su Yen succeeded was because Han Weiran was inexperienced and hadn't experienced many battles. Otherwise, how could he easily control a celestial god with just the Qian Kuan eye? When Su Yan's palm grabbed the leather drum, Han Weiran struggled violently. Her most important treasure was snatched away, causing Han Weiran to instantly become clear-headed. She immediately let out a sharp cry. "You little bastard, you tricked me!" Bastard! Su Yen was furious. He released the power of dragon and tiger, shaking the world. However, Han Weiran, who was in a frenzied state, erupted with her strongest power. She took out the Sun Moon River Mountain Seal and attacked Su Yen. Dong! However, Su Yan's primordial spirit directly recovered and bombarded the leather drum with the power of his primordial spirit. The earthy yellow leather drum beat. The sound sounded calm, but when it reached Han Weiran's sea of consciousness, the sky collapsed and the earth sank. Ghosts cried and gods howled. Her sea of consciousness was about to be torn apart. Han Weiran screamed miserably and held her head in pain. This scene stunned Su Yen. He was even shocked. What kind of treasure was this? How could it have such strong destructive power? Although his primordial spirit was infinitely close to the Divine King's domain, the power of the mind-assimilating drum was enough to threaten his primordial spirit. That leather drum seems to be Qiu Ming's most precious treasure. Someone suddenly spoke. He recognized the origin of the ancient leather drum. This was the mind-assimilating drum, an extremely precious ancient treasure. If the primordial spirit of the caster was strong enough to intimidate the Divine King's primordial spirit, this item was too expensive. If it was really used in an auction, its value would definitely be much higher than that of the humanoid puppet. After all, if this mind-assimilating drum fell into the hands of the King Kongpa, then the King Kongpa would definitely become a fierce god in the Divine King's realm. Therefore, the mind-assimilating drum was extremely valuable. Moreover, one might not be able to buy it even if they had the money. Oh my god, the mind-assimilating drum! Qiu Ming's most precious treasure, the mind-assimilating drum. The whole place was in an uproar. This was an incredible and rare treasure that specialized in restraining one's primordial spirit. Once it fell into the hands of the Divine King, the Divine King could completely rely on the mind-assimilating drum to become a top king in the Divine King's realm that could not be provoked. The Iron Blood King was speechless. The mind-assimilating drum had fallen into the hands of Su Yen just like that. This was too funny. As for Qiu Ming's face, it was so ferocious that it was faintly distorted. How could he not feel heartache after losing such a precious treasure? Yet, it had landed in Su Yan's hands. This was an extraordinary humiliation. Ha 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 ha! Su Yen laughed continuously on the great Dao battle platform. He only felt carefree and unrestrained. He had been targeted by Qiu Ming. Once, he had used the seismic scroll to almost kill Su Yan. Now, he had taken out the mind-assimilating drum and given it to Han Weiran to deal with him. The difference in the outcome was too great. Before the mind-assimilating drum's power could be used, it had already been obtained by Su Yan. Damn it! The group of cultivators from the Han family went crazy with anger. They did not care about any treasure at all. What the Han family cared about was the inheritance of the Heavenly Force chapter. If the treasure was lost, they could find another one. However, the Heavenly Force chapter was the ultimate technique that their ancestors had been proud of for generations. Once Su Yan obtained it, then a young 7th-grade grandmaster would soon be born. She lost. At this time, the cultivators who had recovered from the shock of this battle were so angry that they were about to vomit blood. They had spent a huge amount of money to bet on Han Weiran's victory, but in the end, Han Weiran had suffered a crushing defeat. Many people wanted to die. What the hell was this? As for King Kongpa, he was holding back his laughter. He had profited greatly. He had bet a total of 35,000 kilograms of primordial chaos material on Su Yan. In addition, there were very few people who had bet on Su Yan. If the casino lost all the money, the remaining money would be enough for King Kongpa to make a huge profit. Of course, the commission of the bet was also frightening. However, this commission had nothing to do with King Kongpa. It was the profit of the great Dao auction house. The Han family's faces turned green. They were really anxious. What should they do now? You beast! Han Weiran pointed at Su Yan, her whole body trembling. She could not bear this kind of humiliation. How could she lose? How could she be so shocked by Su Yan that she lost her self-awareness? This bitch! Han Weiran's repeated curses angered Bamboo Moon. She clenched her slender hands and gritted her teeth in anger. Su Yan's expression was a little cold. He looked at Han Weiran and then said to King Kongpa, "Experts from the Dao Temple, the outcome of this battle has been decided. This woman can be considered my spoils of war, right?" The Iron Blood King was having a headache. This lunatic. Did he know that Xiao Ming was also entrenched here? Did this guy really want to hide in the great Dao city for the rest of his life and not come out? He did not know what kind of terrible disaster would happen if he angered Xiao Ming. He had a life forbidden zone behind him. Once he forced a mighty person to come out and denounce him, Su Yan would be in big trouble. Chapter 971. What are you talking about? Han Weiran looked at Su Yan with some fear in her eyes. Her body trembled slightly, not sure if it was from anger or fear. Don't be afraid, I won't kill you. Such a good spoil of war, if you don't use it, wouldn't it be a waste of resources? Su Yan's cold laughter made Han Weiran feel like a tiger whose tail had been stepped on. She crawled up and ran. You were arrogantly shouting for me to get on the stage. Why are you running now? Su Yan showed no mercy. He slapped Han Weiran, causing her to fall to the ground. Half of her face was swollen. Everyone present was dumbfounded. This was too domineering. Some even felt that this guy was simply a lunatic. No matter what, the Han family was still a famous clan. They were the ancestors of the mystic sect. Of course, if they knew that this person was Su Yan, they wouldn't think this way. With the direct hatred between the two, both parties wanted to destroy the other's clan, not to mention targeting one person. Boom! The vast Great Dao City emitted a vast killing intent, scattering the clouds in all directions. The bone-piercing killing intent broke the Great Dao City's eternal peace. Everyone felt as if they had fallen into an ice cave. They only felt that an overlord was going crazy. With a single thought, corpses were strewn everywhere. Do you believe that I won't kill you? Shocking killing intent filled the entire place. The Great Dao City was in an uproar. A peerless king could no longer suppress the bone-piercing killing intent in his heart. Xiao Ming really couldn't sit still. He was completely infuriated by Su Yan. Brother Xiao Ming, kill him quickly! Han Weiran seemed to have grabbed onto a life-saving straw and screamed continuously. Some people's faces darkened. What time was it now? Did Han Weiran still think that she was above others? This was the great Dao battle stage. Once on the stage, it would be a fair battle. No one could interfere with the battle on the stage. Moreover, it was the Han family who requested it. The Taoist temple would preside over the situation and have a fair battle. Once he stepped onto the stage, his life and death would be determined. But after Han Weiran's defeat, she still used such a tone to speak. It had to be said that she had been spoiled by the Han family. This world still did not belong to Chiu Ming. Su Yan was not the only one who was not afraid of Chiu Ming. Ha 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 ha, Chiu Ming, do you think I'm afraid of you? Su Yan's long black hair draped over his shoulders. His robes fluttered in the wind as he stood on the battle platform. Strands of undefeatable belief surged from him as he roared furiously, "If you have the guts, come onto the platform and fight me at the same level." As soon as these words were spoken, the entire city of the Great Path fell silent. One could hear a pin drop. Many people were stupefied. What was going on? This madman still wanted to challenge Chiu Ming, a supreme king of the younger generation. Even if they were at the same level, how could Chiu Ming fear the supremes of the world? This was really the first time since Chiu Ming stepped into the Divine King realm that someone had stood out to challenge him. This person had even made such a statement on the battle platform. He had even shouted it when Han Weiran was being suppressed. All eyes were on the scene. Everyone was guessing who this person was. Could he really be that madman? The Iron Blood King was secretly shocked. He had once directly admitted that he was Su Yan, a rising star from the Burial Realm race, a madman who had massacred the 3 chaotic divine mountains in the Chaos Channel. Could it really be him? Boom. Chiu Ming did not say a word, but his actions represented his attitude. The vast void trembled. The Great Path seemed to be trampled under Chiu Ming's feet. Heaven and earth dimmed. Everything fell into a deathly stillness. There was only one figure in the world, shining brilliantly. He was Chiu Ming, step by step, walking towards the battle platform. The entire place was in an uproar. Could it be that the most terrifying battle of the same generation was about to erupt? No matter how strong Chiu Ming's opponent was, once Chiu Ming stepped onto the battle platform and fought with Su Yan on the same level, the world would definitely see Chiu Ming's ultimate combat strength. It could also be called the ultimate combat strength of the world. Bamboo Moon's heart raced. Why did Su Yan suddenly want to fight with Chiu Ming? What kind of trump card did he have that allowed him to fight with Chiu Ming? Previously, when he fought with Han Weiran, all the cultivators present had witnessed it with their own eyes. Although Su Yan's combat strength was extraordinary, his cultivation level was too low. Moreover, his performance in battle could not be considered outstanding or domineering. There was still a gap between him and the top overlords of the younger generation. No matter what, was a terrifying collision going to take place on the battle platform today? "Brother Chiu Ming, please wait." Suddenly, an ethereal voice transmitted over. It was like a sound wave that swept over from thousands of miles away. The voice came from afar, one sound after another, continuing to be loud and shocking. In the end, the sound waves all over the sky merged into one. The sky seemed to collapse, and the world was filled with a terrifying pressure. Look! Some people were shocked. They looked into the distance and saw an image. It was a faintly discernible figure that walked at the top of the sky dome, stepping on one star after another in the universe. He strolled in the universe, using the stars as nodes. Step by step, he headed towards Great Dao City. Such boldness! Because this style made the cultivators admire him. Someone even directly asked, "Which clan's young man is this? He's too amazing." "Ha ha ha, my clan's master is here." The group of cultivators from the Han family with ugly expressions slapped their legs and laughed loudly. They had seen the light in the midst of despair. Even the old master of the Han family was excited. He felt like the Han family's master was about to break through. His control of the Heaven chapter had reached a godly level. He would definitely be able to reach grade 7 in just 1 or 2 years. Once the Han family's master crossed this stage, he would definitely be a top king of the younger generation. He would be able to stand on the same level as Chiu Ming and the others. Chiu Ming also looked towards the Han family's master. He nodded slightly. This master had reached the stage where he had the mentality of a king. He was infinitely close to the divine king realm. As expected, it won't be so easy to get him. King Kongpa thought to himself. The Han family definitely wouldn't give up on the Heaven chapter. Now that the Han family's master came, it was definitely for the Heaven chapter. Another legendary being has arrived. Great Dao City was in an uproar. The Han family's master looked like a god, and just one look, and one could tell that he was a dragon among men. He walked through the galaxy and crossed Great Dao City, appearing in front of everyone. The scene was really intense. Today was really exciting. This battle definitely wouldn't end so easily. Brother Chiu Ming. The stars in the Han family's master's eyes dimmed as he said calmly, "This kid insulted my Han family. I want to go up and take off his head." What arrogance! Su Yan stood on the platform and said coldly, "Are you in a rush to die?" The experts from the Han family had dark expressions on their faces. The strength of the master was definitely out of everyone's expectations. They believed that the moment he went up on the platform, it would change everyone's understanding of the Han family's master. As for the Han family's master, he obviously ignored Su Yan and didn't even look at him. He directly said to Chiu Ming, "Brother Chiu Ming, your identity is high and you are the top king of the generation. Killing one person is just a small matter. I will teach him a lesson for you and then take his head." Okay. Chiu Ming nodded. The Han family lost so many times. If they couldn't control the situation, then they really wouldn't have any face left in the cultivation world. After getting Chiu Ming's agreement, the Han family's master's eyes landed on Su Yan and he scolded, "Insulting my Han family and even targeting brother Chiu Ming. Today, I will take off your head and let you see the cruel reality." When the Han family's master was about to go up, King Kongpa stood out and stopped him. He frowned, "Wait, this is against the rules." These words caused the faces of the Han family experts to sink. What did King Kongpa want to do? Didn't he see the situation clearly? Why was he still protecting Su Yan? What benefits did this fellow give him? Rules. The Han family's master's eyes landed on Uncle Kong. He really wanted to say that the rules were set by the experts. These are the rules set by your Han family. Below the stage, God King Kong Bo was extremely displeased. Since he's already won and Han Weiran has been defeated, it's not up to you to decide whether to proceed with the second battle or not. You have to ask for his opinion. The Han family's master was furious. How did Su Yan have any relationship with King Kongpa? The reason why King Kongpa helped Su Yan was because it was against the rules. After all, Su Yan had fought a huge battle, so didn't he need to rest? Another important point was that he had a big brother. This was why if Su Yan really wanted to leave with the Heaven Strength scripture, he could just walk out of the city. Of course, if the Han family didn't know what was good for them and wanted to attack Su Yan, the outcome would be enough to make the Han family vomit blood. Their entire race would suffer heavy losses. What was the big deal if an entire race was destroyed under the rage of an expert? Although the Han family was strong, they didn't have an expert in their race. Are you afraid? The master's words were a little cold. Su Yan ignored the Han family's master and looked at King Kongpa. "King Kongpa, can you give me my Heaven Strength scripture and puppet? I even bet 5,000 kilograms of chaos treasure material at the auction house. According to the odds, I should be able to get 100,000 kilograms of chaos treasure material." The moment he said this, the atmosphere became really weird. Some people were so heartbroken that they almost fainted. The Han family was really going to explode from anger because of Su Yan. They had lost 100,000 kilograms of chaos treasure material, a huge amount of wealth. Although the Han family was huge, 100,000 kilograms of chaos treasure material was equivalent to tens of thousands of years of accumulation. Along with the loss of Chiu Ming's god-assimilating drum, this loss was a little terrifying. More importantly, Su Yan got the Heaven Strength scripture. Su Yan was just like a rich man, making some divine king jealous. They all looked at him with red eyes and had the urge to rob him. Unfortunately, I didn't bet more. What a huge loss, Hayes. Su Yan's face was filled with regret. If he bet more, wouldn't he have become rich? King Kongpo laughed in his heart. Luckily, Su Yan's wealth was limited. As for more people, their faces turned green. How much more did he want to win? Can't you consider our feelings for a moment? If you are afraid, then scram out of Grand Dao City. The Han family's master couldn't suppress his urge to tear Su Yan apart. He stared at him coldly and hollered, "Grand Dao City doesn't raise trash." Noisy. Su Yan stared at the Han family's master and scolded, "Even if you are in a rush to die, you have to see whether or not I am in the mood to kill you. Wait here." 9 Heaven's God Emperor. Chapter 972. This voice rendered all the spectators speechless. No matter what, this person was a renowned genius of the primal chaos ruins. He was the strongest member of the Han clan's younger generation. He was even close to reaching the godly king realm. Such an existence was actually scolded by Su Yan. Their horizons were really broadened, and they were more and more curious about where this person came from. He wasn't afraid of anything at all. The Han family master's face was dark and sunken. A killing intent that wanted to tear Su Yan apart couldn't be suppressed. He hollered at him, "Do you dare to come up and fight me? I told you to wait here. Are you deaf?" Su Yan's eyes were fierce as he pointed at the Han family master and scolded, "If I hear any more nonsense from you, Han Weiran's head will fall to the ground." Han Weiran was so terrified that she shivered. At this moment, she was really afraid and didn't dare to make a sound. She was really afraid that Su Yan would slice off her head. She didn't want to die. There was still a bright future waiting for her. The Han family master was furious and couldn't keep calm. Facing such a vicious person, he was so angry that his liver and stomach hurt. "Calm down." The old grandmaster of the Han clan walked over and whispered to him, "This person has most likely gone mad. He knows that he can't make it to the Great Path City, so he might as well let him be for now. Even if he really retreats, the Great Path City will be his grave. He won't be able to escape the clutches of the Han clan." The Han family master took in a deep breath and tried to suppress the killing intent in his heart. Such scenes also showed the prestige of Great Dao City. Who would dare to mess around here? It was said that within Great Dao City, there was always an expert in charge of it. This was a supreme Pure Land, a place of peace. No one could break the rules here. On the opening day of the Great Dao Battle Platform, Divine King Kong Bo had already paid a visit to the old antiques of the Dao Hall. He had clearly informed them that there was a mighty figure by Su Yan's side who had even snatched away the 5-colored battle flag of the Sky Bamboo lineage with his bare hands. If the Han family or Chiu Ming dared to make any moves, the old antiques in the city of the Great Dao would definitely take action. Almighties had already transcended the world. No matter how strong a talent was or how terrifying his potential was, as long as he wasn't an almighty or on the same level as them, almighties would only care about almighties. Even a half-step almighty was just a floating cloud in their eyes, not worth mentioning. The scene was quiet and no one dared to breathe loudly. However, more and more cultivators from all walks of life had rushed to the Great Path City to watch the battle. The crowd that had gathered at the Great Path battle platform was almost overcrowded. As the news spread, more and more cultivators would definitely rush here to watch. "Haha, I've kept everyone waiting." At this moment, Divine King Kong Bo arrived with a large beast skin pouch. This bag caused many people's eyes to turn purple with envy. There were 50,000 kilograms of primal chaos treasured materials in it. In the previous shocking gamble, Su Yen and the others had won a bet with 10 times the odds. 50,000 kilograms of primal chaos treasured materials. Even some half-step almighties had never seen such a huge fortune in their lives. The cultivators present breathed heavily. Many people were asking their friends around them who had bet on the mysterious man's victory. However, after asking for a long time, no one had said anything. This made the cultivators gasp. Damn it, very few people had won the entire bet. This was a shocking amount of wealth. It was said that the amount had exceeded 500,000 kilograms of primal chaos treasured materials. Even the overlords of the sky bamboo lineage would find it difficult to take out 500,000 kilograms of primal chaos treasured materials. They would probably need the approval of all the old antiques in the clan. The top clans would at most empty their wealth with a few 100,000 kilograms of primal chaos treasured materials. Moreover, for the Divine Firmament sect and the other clans in the outside world, taking out 500,000 kilograms of primal chaos treasured materials was like a fool's dream. Their foundation could not be compared to the ancestral hall. Ha ha ha, we're rich! Meanwhile, in the Great Path auction house, the little blood lion and the others were extremely excited. They all bared their teeth, causing the group of appraisers in the Great Path auction house to almost cry. Why didn't they bet more? Although they had won a lot, compared to these little brats, it was not enough at all. The little blood lion and the others had bet 7,000 kilograms of primal chaos treasured materials, which meant that they had won a total of 70,000 kilograms of primal chaos treasured materials. Their wealth could be compared to the peak stage divine kings. How could they be more excited and overjoyed? In fact, Bamboo Moon had also come early to line up and received her 50,000 kilograms of primal chaos treasured materials. Bamboo Moon was so excited that her eyes shone brightly. She had received 95,000 kilograms of primal chaos treasured materials, which was enough for her to buy a large amount of resources and break through the Divine King's domain. Once she broke through, Bamboo Moon's words would have more weight in the Sky Bamboo lineage. The resources in her hands would also be more abundant. This is 95,000 kilograms of primal chaos treasured materials. This is a human-shaped puppet. This is the heavenly scripture. King Kampa's expression was solemn, but he was actually laughing in his heart. The biggest winner was King Kampa. He had bet a total of 15,000 kilograms of primal chaos treasured materials and won 150,000 kilograms. King Kampa was so excited that his hands were shaking. This amount of wealth was terrifying. However, all of this was because of Su Yen. This made King Kampa want to become sworn brothers with Su Yen and call him brother. Why is there less than 2,500 kilograms? Su Yen frowned. Take a cut. King Kampa's old face was like a blooming chrysanthemum. This sentence made Su Yen curse in his heart. How evil, directly taking 2,500 kilograms of primal chaos treasured materials. However, this kind of gambling was too rare. It was hard to come by in 1,000 years. Of course, there had been especially crazy gambling in the past. Just the wealth alone had soared to a terrifying amount of millions of kilograms. This was a huge amount of wealth that could cause peak clans to fight with each other. Can we start? The Han family master held it in for a long time and finally spoke. Su Yen glanced at the Han family master and said to King Kampa, "Take the Heavenly Influence chapter." King Kampa was shocked. "Throw it into the auction and bid for me." Before Su Yen could finish, the Han family exploded. The Han family master roared, "Don't go overboard, don't go overboard." Divine King Kong Bo was stunned. He was dumbfounded. Sell? If the Heavenly Influence chapter was really thrown into the auction, this would be a sky-high price. It would easily cost a few 100,000 kilograms of primal chaos treasured materials. It might even be sold for an unimaginable amount. If it was really auctioned, all the peak clans in the universe would bid for it. However, who would dare to bid? Even the Dow Hall would have to consider the consequences. Once they bid, it would be like driving the entire Han family crazy. They might even do something crazy. Isn't it a little too long to prepare for the auction? Su Yen suddenly hesitated. His every move affected the hearts of the Han family expert. His next sentence made them want to vomit blood. Heroes, whoever can take out 250,000 kilograms of primal chaos treasured materials will get the Heavenly Influence chapter. This sentence was like a thunderclap, causing a huge commotion. Actually, Su Yen was just casually saying it. However, he really didn't expect that someone would directly transmit a message to him saying that they would consider it. However, Su Yan's price was a little too high. However, 200,000 kilograms of primal chaos treasured materials was safe. There were also old antiques who were willing to take a complete divine herb for the trade. In short, more than a dozen hidden people transmitted their messages, making Su Yen slap his thigh. Great! Bastard, who is bidding in secret? The Han family master was furious. Once it was sold, no one would be able to find the source. Do you dare to bet with me? Let's bet on my family's Heavenly Influence chapter. The Han family master hollered in rage. He couldn't control himself. Su Yen was selling half of their Han family. How could the Han family sit still? What are you betting with me? Su Yen asked curiously. My life. The Han family master's tone was cold, like he was making a huge decision. Su Yen burst out laughing. How much is your life worth? It's better if you bet Qiu Ming's life with the Heavenly Influence chapter. Your life isn't enough. Qiu Ming's face was dark and sunken, scaring the people around him. Can you not provoke Qiu Ming? What if this fellow suddenly goes crazy and kills us? Qiu Ming's face was cold as he said word by word to Su Yen, I will bet 100 drops of Universe Mother liquid. Everyone present exclaimed in disbelief. Was another earth-shattering gamble about to start? The older generation experts muttered in their hearts. How much Universe Mother liquid did this damn Qiu Ming have? Didn't he know that even powerful beings cared about the Universe Mother liquid? How much of this rare resource did he have? Thank you, Dao brother Qiu Ming, I won't let you down. Killing intent surged in the Han family master's heart. He swore that he would use his strongest state to crush Su Yen and wipe away his humiliation. Bullshit. Su Yen scoffed coldly. Qiu Ming, you are too stingy. Only 100 drops? Seeing Qiu Ming's change in expression, Su Yen said coldly, I am not interested in the Universe Mother liquid. Let's change to something else. What do you want to bet? Qiu Ming became calmer and calmer. Those who were familiar with him knew that Qiu Ming was furious to the extreme. I want to bet on your domain-shaking painting scroll. Su Yen opened his mouth like a lion, scaring all the cultivators present. The Divine King felt cold all over. Did this fellow really go crazy? He was still provoking Qiu Ming. Wasn't he afraid that Qiu Ming would go crazy and do something scary? Su Yen even dared to touch the domain-shaking painting scroll. Didn't he know that Qiu Ming had a forbidden area on his back? How dare you? How could Qiu Ming be calm? He really couldn't control himself and was about to explode and kill. Is it not enough? Su Yen smiled and said, Then I will add a little more. I will bet on the humanoid puppet. Or rather, Su Yen pointed at Han Weiran, who was knocked to death, and said coldly, I will bet on my spoils of war. These should be enough, right? I will bet 3 things on your domain-shaking painting scroll. Is it not enough? These words made Han Weiran almost get up and see the dawn of hope. Some old monster's expressions changed. Su Yen was really black-hearted. Wishful thinking. Qiu Ming stood up suddenly, shaking the sky. He pointed at Su Yen and growled, I will add 30 drops of Universe Mother liquid. The scene suddenly became chaotic. Some people in the Han family were suddenly disappointed. On the Great Dao battle platform, Han Weiran also suffered a shocking blow and was in a daze. This kind of atmosphere spread, and soon Chiu Ming's face turned ugly. He had been tricked. Su Yan said that on purpose. However, Chiu Ming didn't care. He didn't care so much about Han Weiran in the first place. Chiu Ming. Su Yan clenched his fists and said, "What great courage! In that case, I will bet 130 drops of Universe Mother Liquid for the Heavenly Momentum chapter. There are more tonight. Brothers, I beg for some monthly vote." Chapter 973. Crackle. The Han family master clenched his fist. He couldn't wait anymore. The battle blood in his body was boiling. His cold eyes seemed to be able to see Su Yan's bloody head being ripped off by him. All the humiliation will be in this battle. The Han family master's expression was cold. Killing intent spread out from his body and sliced through the air. "What are you still standing there for? Get on the stage." Su Yan waved at the Han family master. At the same time, he said to King Kongpa, 130 drops of Universe Mother Liquid. According to the rules, the experts of the Dao Hall should help manage it, right? Don't let someone go back on his words. I only have 50 drops, Chiu Ming said coldly. If the Han family master loses, the other 80 drops will be returned. Okay, I believe in your reputation, Chiu Ming. Su Yan wasn't afraid that Chiu Ming would go back on his words. If Chiu Ming really didn't give it back, then it would be his moral problem. Moreover, with the experts of the Dao Hall supervising, Su Yan wasn't afraid that Chiu Ming wouldn't give it back. Brother Chiu Ming, this battle is over. There's no need for you to make a trip back to the family. The Han family master walked up step by step. He looked like victory was in his hands. Moreover, he looked down on Su Yan from high above. The powerful energy rippling in his body made the Han family master very confident. The spectators all opened their eyes wide. After such a long commotion, the battle was finally about to begin. The Han family master had already stepped onto the Dao battle platform. His body was a little blurry, appearing and disappearing in the void. Vaguely, the body of the Han family master was like a vast universe blooming. An extremely heavy aura leaked out and covered the entire Dao battle platform. Make your move. Su Yan didn't dare to be careless. The top of the younger generation of the Han family definitely had some skill. He wouldn't let his guard down. In this battle, he was prepared to use his hidden physical strength to face the Han family master in his strongest state. Hee, if you want me to make a move, I'm afraid you won't even have the chance to make a move, the Han family master said in disdain. Apart from your sharp tongue, you are just a piece of trash in my eyes. I don't care who you are. Today, the Dao battle platform will be your grave. Kid, don't be so cocky, Su Yan shook his head and sneered. Those who don't know would really think that an almighty has come. Almighty to me isn't too far away. The Han family master stood with his arms behind his back. He really had the aura of a top expert and had developed an invincible aura. He was really firm about his path to becoming an expert. In the future, he would definitely be able to stand at the top and look down on all the experts in the world. You are bragging a little too much. Su Yan laughed, however. Your Han family experts are all so arrogant. Otherwise, you wouldn't have lost so badly. Do you really think that the Chaos Ruins are your Han family's territory? This isn't arrogance but confidence. My family was once glorious. The Han family master was really calm and said coldly, As for my confidence in suppressing you and taking your head, do you think there is a problem? If you don't make a move, I am afraid that you won't even have a chance to show off your skills. When you make a move, let me see how strong my heaven strength scripture is. Su Yan laughed coldly. You asked for it. The Han family master suddenly laughed. I told you to attack but you didn't. Since it is my turn to attack, I can guarantee that you won't have a chance to attack anymore. This mysterious person is going to be unlucky, little Grandmaster. I am indeed capable. No wonder the Han family is so confident in letting the master go up, an old antique said. Many people were stunned. They hadn't even started, so how could they be so sure that Su Yan would lose? In their understanding, the mysterious person wasn't weak. He should be able to fight for at least a few hundred rounds, right? Boom. The sound of thunder exploded. A very sudden scene appeared on the Dao battle platform. The entire vast space of the Dao battle platform suddenly surged with a terrifying fluctuation that seemed like the sky was going to collapse. The Dao battle platform changed, as if it had disappeared from the eyes of the people. When it appeared once more, it was like a place of purgatory. The fluctuations that spread out made all the cultivators suffocate. It was extremely unbearable. What is that? Many people felt a headache coming on because they saw that in the vast void, there were densely packed traces that interweaved together one after another. There were simply too many to count. Countless marks of the great path crisscrossed, forming a purgatory of gods and demons, suppressing the great path battle platform. Void formation patterns. A formation grandmaster exclaimed, "What a master! He is so young and actually cultivated the formation Dao to such a high level. I didn't see clearly when he was setting up the formation, but to be able to set up void formation patterns on the entire Dao battle platform in such a short time, the Han family's master is undoubtedly the #1 person in the Han family." Endless array marks were constructed, densely intertwining together to form a world annihilation catalog. This method was really amazing. When the Han family's master was setting up the formation, only some old antiques saw some blurry scenes. However, Su Yan didn't notice at all. This meant that he was really going to be unlucky. Bamboo Moon wasn't worried. No matter how good his master's method was, how good could it be? From the start, everything appeared perfectly in Su Yan's eyes. How is it? The Han family's master had his hands behind his back and asked Su Yan confidently. One could even see the shock on his face. "SOSO," Su Yan replied calmly. "You stubborn thing, you are still lying through your teeth." The Han family's master's eyes turned cold and he hollered in rage, "Kill! Today, I don't even need to use one hand. I can use the heaven strength scripture to suppress you in hell." 1. The moment the Han family's master's voice exploded, thousands of layers of black light surged out from the Dao battle platform. The boundless formation marks seemed to have transformed into a vast river of stars. They crisscrossed and intertwined, forming the Armageddon catalog that was much more powerful. The world turned dark. The Dao battle platform turned into a killing ground. The bright light that spread out made the world burn to the extreme. This is the activation of the top formation. Many people exclaimed. The killing intent that surged out from the Dao battle platform pierced through the clouds and gathered into an unparalleled force. It contained shocking ripples that could suppress enemies of the same generation. Kacha. The sky collapsed. That was a vast light that charged into the 9 heavens. It shook the sun, moon, and stars in the sky. The light was limitless. At this moment, the Han family's master seemed really domineering. He was like an emperor that controlled the world. His words were law. The mystical sect cultivators are actually so strong. Some young people were shocked. This was the first time they saw the top of the mystical sect cultivators show off their skills. The battle had just started. The Han family's master directly controlled the entire Dao battle platform. In the limitless light that pierced through the heavens, the Han family's master seemed really charming. Suppress. He stood at the peak of the layout and looked down on all enemies in the world. He formed a seal with his palm. The heaven-raising hand was only strong in the hands of the Han family's master. One hand covered down. It was like the hand of the heavens that covered the entire Dao battle platform. The limitless layout turned into a giant hand that pressed down on the Dao battle platform. It flowed with a terrifying light. Many people found it hard to breathe. This palm was too terrifying. It was like the giant palm of a god that slammed down from the outer region. It covered a corner of the universe and was filled with the power to suppress all gods and demons. The Han family's master seemed to have controlled the heavens and turned into an eternal ruler. When the palm was infinitely close to Su Yan, he said with a cruel and cold smile, "Why aren't you submitting to the law? It's not too late to admit defeat now. Kneel down and kowtow to me to admit your mistakes, and I can spare your life." These words made Su Yan furious. "You brat, if I don't kill you, you really won't know what I am." Su Yan jumped up from the ground. His sealed flesh shell started to shake. It was like a ripple from an ancient era was crossing history and the chaos to arrive. "You want to run? You won't be able to escape from my five-finger mountain. Today, on the Dao battle platform, I will make you pay the price in blood." The Han family's master laughed coldly. He pressed down with his hand and a heavy aura descended. The master's 5 fingers were like a mountain and gave off a majestic aura. His 5 fingers expanded like 5 pillars that supported the heavens and opened up space. His palm was like a starry ocean world that contained many stars in the universe. It gave off the aura of the heavens and wanted to cover the entire world. This palm could be said to be at the peak. It wanted to bury Su Yan's body within. He didn't even have a chance to shine. This was his confidence as a master. He wanted to suppress Su Yan with one palm and write his own legend. However, the moment Su Yan's physical body returned from its slumber, tens of thousands of layers of blood essence light rushed out of his pores. This was definitely a vast and flourishing divine power storm. The moment it danced, the blood essence instantly pierced through the heavens. Kong! Su Yan couldn't help but roar. His essence blood surged like an abyss and surged out, piercing through the clouds. Even the aura of his body that returned from the body nurturing technique increased greatly. The unlimited essence blood evaporated and turned into an ancient dragon that laid on Su Yan's head and looked down on the 9 heavens and 10 earths. For the god spirit domain to accumulate to such an extent, it was really heaven-defying. "What is that?" Some of the spectators were terrified because they seemed to see the vast essence blood drown the entire Dao battle platform and cover the sky. When the unlimited essence blood returned to Su Yan's body, he was like a demon that was born from chaos. Su Yan's aura was completely different. A terrifying aura spread out, causing the sky to darken. Many experts near the Dao battle platform fell to the ground and trembled. Su Yan roared in rage. He was like a comet that shot out. Light filled the sky and tore open the sky. Once the Big Dipper fist exploded, the sky collapsed. "Come and accept your death." How valiant was Su Yan! With one fist, the entire Dao battle platform's void runes twisted and instantly collapsed. A huge explosion occurred in the void. This was a human-shaped dragon that came out of its cage. It was too overbearing and overpowered, instantly reaching the end of the platform. 9 Heavens God Emperor. Chapter 974. On the great Dao battle platform, the wind and clouds dispersed, and ghosts cried and gods howled. The energy fluctuations were intense, and a figure awakened at lightning speed. The surging energy was violent to the extreme, dominating the entire great Dao battle platform. The sky was torn apart. This was completely the movement of gods and demons, causing the sky to collapse and the earth to rend. Su Yan rose from the ground as terrifying energy overflowed in all directions. His unparalleled fighting strength filled the entire arena. The energy source that leaked out caused the heroes around the battle stage to directly fall to the ground. It was difficult for them to withstand this kind of violent energy. "Oh my God!" Everyone present cried out in surprise. This was a scene that shook the soul. A person rose up from the ground, and during the process of awakening, divine light overflowed into the sky. His blood essence was like a wild dragon roaring in high spirits, and an endless storm of divine energy burst forth. Boom! A great collapse occurred on the great Dao battle platform. Countless void runes were riddled with holes as the light of energy spewed out from Su Yan's pores. He was too terrifying and domineering. His entire body surged with a domineering aura that pushed away all enemies in the world. The moment his figure soared into the sky, the Armageddon catalogue that filled the sky began to shatter piece by piece like picture scrolls. Everything was overturned forcefully. An intimidating figure, even more intimidating than gods and demons, with a head of long black hair dancing wildly, illuminating the boundless earth. He was peerlessly domineering, stepping on the sun, moon, rivers, and mountains. The magnificent Great Tao battle platform seemed to submit to his feet. The fist he swung out was like a comet bombarding the end of the battle platform, causing heaven and earth to shake. Unbelievable! A divine king exclaimed. What kind of king was this? Once he was serious, he was actually so domineering. It was completely different from the way he fought with Han Weiran previously. Every move he made revealed a boundless domineering aura. This punch even caused the sea of stars to shine, and the boundless essence of the galaxy fell down, penetrating Su Yan's fist. The moment this punch erupted, the sea of stars floated in the battle platform. Su Yan's fist was magnificent and peerless. The sun, moon, and stars revolved around his fist. This punch could be said to have blasted out an ancient sea of stars, about to destroy the entire Great Tao battle platform. Big Dipper fist. There were also some who turned pale with fright and trembled all over. They couldn't help but exclaim, "This is Hokuto's secret technique, the Big Dipper fist." Ever since the decline of Hokuto, the Big Dipper fist had disappeared from the eyes of the world. However, in the era of Madman Su, he fought against heroes from all over the world and washed the chaotic divine mountain with blood. The Big Dipper fist's ferocity once again soared to the heavens. Now that the Big Dipper fist was used on the stage, it was enough to prove one thing. He is Su Yan, the young overlord of the Buried Region clan, Su Yan. This was a terrifying truth that many people found hard to accept. Their breathing became extremely heavy. This was a legend who was strong enough. Now that he had appeared in such a shocking manner, even the experts of the older generation felt their scalps go numb. This lunatic actually dared to swagger around in the city of the Great Tao. Didn't he know how big of a trouble he was in? The Iron Blood King was even more dumbfounded. He really was Su Yan. This result was too inconceivable. This guy even took the initiative to say that he was Su Yan. Just what was he trying to do? Didn't he know how dangerous the city of the Great Tao was? Su Yan's strength shocked the Iron Blood King. Rumors had it that Su Yan had just stepped into Heaven God realm not long ago. But looking at his awakened energy, he was extremely strong. This wasn't the strength of someone who had just stepped into Heaven God realm. Kill! The fiend gods moved, killing intent surged, annihilating the vast void. This fist was extremely strong and overbearing, about to drown the Han family's master. The Han family's master hollered in rage, "I don't care who you are. Today, you will definitely die." The Han family's master stepped forwards, step by step. With each step, his aura surged a little. In a short moment of light, the Han family's master took a total of 9 steps. At that moment it was like the entire world was being pushed by him. Even the vast sky moved along with him. It was like the sky was really falling down and covering the land. Hong! The sky darkened. A king descended and looked down on everyone. "Okay, we must crush Su Yan and let him know how strong and prosperous our Han family is." The Han family's old master hollered in rage. This was the Han family's sect-shocking technique, the supreme legacy of their founder. When it was confirmed that this person was Su Yan, the experts of the Han family went crazy. They had to kill him. Since the master attacked, they were confident that they could kill Su Yan. A terrifying battle. On the Tao battle platform, a strong enough energy storm was brewing. One side was like the king of the universe. Blood energy surged into the clouds and his aura was extremely domineering. As for the Han family master, he was extremely elegant. He took 9 steps and stood at his peak. Even the sky seemed to collapse. As he moved, he seemed to have turned into a king among men. He contained a huge amount of godly might that swept across the land. Sky King Seal. The older cultivators were shocked. This was the Han family's secret technique, and also the Han family's supreme legacy, the Sky King Seal. This technique was passed down from the Mystic Gate. Legend had it that once one cultivated it, they could control the universe. Although the Han family's master hadn't stepped into the Master Realm, with his combat strength, he could control the power of the heavens and suppress strong enemies. That thick, boundless, peerless, and terrifying energy body was born with the Han family's Master Realm. What a Sky King Seal! With the Han family's Master Realm attainments, they are undefeatable. The experts of the various races were shocked. The Han family master had really grown. Although the various races didn't know much about Madman Su, who had barged into the Chaos Ruins, but with the strength of a master, could it be that he couldn't suppress Su Yan? How is that possible? How can he be Su Yan? Shouldn't this fellow be the son of a restricted area from a restricted area? But he is actually Madman Su. Oh my God, who is that expert beside him? Where did he get such a vicious person from? Bringing a big brother into the city and showing off, what does he want? King Kongpa's heart jumped. No matter how he thought about it, he wouldn't have thought that this person was Su Yan. Could it be that the supreme being beside him was the old leader of the Burial Realm clan, a supreme overlord who had once slaughtered the supreme being of the Ancestral Hall? Su Yan, hand over your life. Today, I will kill you. The Han family's Master Realm awakened in the Extreme Realm. From this moment onwards, the world turned dark and fell into darkness. A suffocating energy source descended from the sky. This was the limit of the heavenly god realm. An invincible battle prowess that could suppress those in the same generation erupted here and clashed with Su Yan's Big Dipper fist. Hong Long. This kind of collision seemed to be burning the world. The sea of stars and the firmament collided. The great path battle platform released dazzling brilliance. A loud noise shook the heavens, and a terrifying crack collapsed, and the crack was rapidly expanding. What a terrifying collision! The energy collision that made cultivators in the same generation tremble caused the Tao battle platform to tremble. The two boundless forces collided here. In the process of the collision, the cracks continued to expand and were about to blast a huge hole in the entire Tao battle platform. Su Yan, you can't do it. Today, I will beat you until you kneel on the Tao battle platform and repent to my family for your sins. The Han family's Master Realm expert shouted furiously. Every movement of his caused the sky to shake. Energy ripples that were even more turbulent than the ocean swept across. His divine might filled the entire Tao battle platform. Under the Heavenly King Seal state, the Han family's Master Realm expert turned into a huge seal. He was powerful and pushed the vast energy source to suppress Su Yan once again. You arrogant thing! Even if you step into the Grandmaster Realm, I will kill you! Two streaks of fierce light flashed in Su Yan's eyes. The heaven and earth eye bloomed. So what if it was the Heavenly King Seal? Everyone admitted that this secret technique was unparalleled, but the Han family's Master Realm expert hadn't stepped into the Grandmaster Realm yet. The Heavenly King Seal he created had many flaws, and they all appeared in Su Yan's eyes. However, Su Yan didn't care about using the Heaven and Earth Eye to attack him. He had enough power to forcefully break through all of this. Under the body nurturing technique state, Su Yan had accumulated enough potential and foundations. If he couldn't even kill a Han family's Master Realm expert, then he wouldn't be able to survive. At the same time, Su Yan would try his best to reduce the time. That was because the energy accumulated by the body nurturing technique couldn't be used by Su Yan endlessly. Su Yan wasn't a heavenly god after all. There was a huge gap between them. Once he faced someone of the same generation, there would be a huge gap between them. Dong! Su Yan's killing intent swept the sky. Essence blood boiled from his treasure body, along with a blurry, chaotic energy. His aura suddenly changed. Sometimes it was like a halberd that could slice through everything. Sometimes it was like a huge cauldron that could suppress the world. Sometimes it was like a golden bell that could shake everything. The explosion of his foundations and the awakening of his potential caused Su Yan's aura to increase by a large amount. Under everyone's disbelieving eyes, Su Yan swallowed up the mountains and swung his fist once more. It was extremely heavy, causing the entire universe to rumble. However, this wasn't just one fist. He swung a total of 9 fists, going against the heavens and exploding out with his shocking foundations. Hong Long. Those were 9 terrifying stars in the universe that pierced through the clouds and struck the heavens. A total of 9 fists were thrown out with the Big Dipper fist. Each star was wrapped in chaotic light like they were stars born from chaos. The process destroyed the heavens and the earth. What shocked everyone was that the 9 stars merged into one. This was the Big Dipper fist of the Big Dipper fist. The entire sky was covered and darkened. Along with the vast 9 heavens Milky Way light scattering down, the entire Tao battle platform was filled with extreme pressure. Kill! Su Yan hollered. His majestic aura shocked the world. He formed a fist seal and was extremely domineering as he charged forwards. One could feel the sky crying blood. This fist blasted through the entire sky. Boundless power was released, and a huge explosion occurred in the sky. Among them, there was a body that trembled. Blood spurted out from his body and the bones in his body cracked. He suffered a terrifying injury. The master fell down and his body was about to fall apart. 9 Heavens God Emperor. Chapter 975. A thick blood light shot out and dyed the broken sky red. A figure that was originally filled with divine might was now covered in a sea of chi and blood that pressed down like lightning. His blood essence was so terrifying that it made people tremble. Su Yan punched out and a loud bang rang out. Blood essence that filled the sky gathered and almost boiled, causing the entire great Tao battle platform to shake. 9 fists merged into one, roaring and tearing open the sky as it smashed towards the Han family master. This fist caused his body to bend and blood spurted out from his pores. Along with the sounds of bones cracking, his body exploded. The sound of bones cracking contained a unique magical power, causing the spectators in the field to be dumbfounded. This scene was unbelievable. That was the Han family master, an invincible young expert. But now, he faced Madman Su and was punched down from the sky. His body was heavily injured. Many people were terrified. How strong was Madman Su? The Big Dipper fist unleashed a total of 9 punches, sweeping across all enemies in the world. Towards this young overlord who had barged in from the outside world, towards this rising star of the declining clans, many clans realized that they had a serious misconception of his combat strength. Those people who felt that the Han family master was invincible all shut their mouth. This madman Su who started a massacre in the Chaos Tunnel was extremely strong. He was unbelievably strong and destroyed a Heavenly King legend with one fist. After all, the Heavenly King seal was an undefeatable supreme inherited technique. It was also a rare technique of the mystic sect. But now, no matter how strong the technique was, in front of a domineering person, there would be a day when the legend would be broken. The expressions of the Han family experts were really ugly. How did this happen? Su Yan had just stepped into Heaven God realm, so how did he have such terrifying trump cards? This was enough to show how terrifying the body nurturing technique was. It had helped Su Yan build up a monstrous foundation. The eruption of one move was peerless. Of course, even without the body nurturing technique, Su Yan could rely on the eyes of the universe to break the special layout of the Heavenly King seal. Moreover, it was a secret technique that the prehistoric Big Brother was terrifying and had casually passed down to Su Yan. Coupled with the Heaven-Earth stone bile that he had picked up at the auction, Su Yan possessed 2 trump cards. Is the Han family master going to be defeated? Someone screamed because Su Yan charged over. He was still so strong and domineering, charging to the end of the Dao battle platform. His body stuck close to the ground as he charged over. Before he arrived, the extremely turbulent energy ripple had already caused the blood-stained figure that fell from the sky to tremble. It was as though he was about to be smashed into pieces by Su Yan in a single exchange. Ha ha ha, good. Little Lion King and the others were really excited. They didn't expect Su Yan to be the one on the stage. They also didn't expect that Su Yan had developed such strength. Ever since Su Yan stepped into the Chaos Ruins, the forces of the various clans had been suppressing his growth. However, under such extreme pressure, Su Yan became stronger and stronger. He had awakened in the face of adversity. Now, his aura could swallow the rivers and mountains. On the Great Law battle platform, his divine power was displayed. Hong Long. Su Yan's hand slapped up and hit the body of the Han family master. Many people couldn't bear to watch this palm. Was the master going to die? He couldn't even last a few rounds and was going to be killed by Su Yan? But the outcome stunned everyone. This palm did hit the master's body. However, the Han family master's body was covered in a layer of dreamy colored battle armor. The battle armor was like a starry sky covering the master's body. Numerous suns, moons, and stars were carved on it. An extremely powerful defensive force surged forth and forcefully blocked the might of Su Yan's palm. Sun-Moon Galaxy Battle Armor. Someone was speechless. This was a really rare battle armor, a rare treasure of the Han family. It was really difficult to refine, and one needed the Han family experts to gather the essence of the sun, moon, and stars. To refine this battle armor, one would need to spend a lot of time and effort. However, its defensive power was really strong, and it could even raise the strength of the Han family master. Kong! The Han family master hollered in rage. He really didn't expect that Su Yan would strike him down from the sky. His blood-dyed hair danced in the wind as he roared in rage. What are you shouting for? I will send you on your way. Su Yan's hair scattered down. His tall body was filled with a terrifying aura that suppressed those of the same generation. His moves were huge as he attacked the Han family master. The storm-like killing techniques were used by Su Yan to their fullest. Facing the all-out attacks, the Han family master fought back crazily. The Sun-Moon Galaxy battle armor shone brightly and gave him shocking strength. However, no matter how fast the Han family master reacted, Su Yan's moves were huge and ferocious. Each move contained extreme strength. Hong Long. A total of 100 rounds of intense clashing were like two ancient beasts clashing together. Blood splattered in the sky. The Han family master couldn't even raise his head. He couldn't keep up with Su Yan's movements at all. The Han family master made a fatal mistake. An expert from the older generation commented, Su Yan is a ruthless person who fought his way out of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. He shouldn't fight him in close combat. He can't beat Madman Su. Although that is the case, Su Yan is really fast. Do you think the Han family master is faster than Su Yan? Even if he wants to break free, he won't be able to. He can only fight Su Yan head-on. Some people retorted. Although the master had the sun-moon-star-sky armor, there was still a limit to it. Su Yan's successive attacks caused the Han family master to suffer internal injuries. Although the injuries weren't serious, they weren't serious. Although they weren't serious, after 100 rounds of fighting, he suffered injuries on top of injuries. Blood spurted out from his nose and mouth. His hair was disheveled, and he lost the aura of a young expert. I will kill you! The Han family master hollered in rage. His mental energy exploded. He wanted to kill his way out of this situation. On the Great Dao battle platform, blurry void formation runes appeared once more. The master of the Han family was using his extreme formation technique to suppress Su Yan with his aura. However, no matter how strong he was, He wasn't as strong as Su Yan. Break for me. Su Yan stood on the fighting ring and let out a loud roar. Hong. He spat out a bright light. Along with the blurry, chaotic light, a heavy power filled the entire area. The formation technique that just appeared was shattered by Su Yan's roar. Even in front of his roar, the Han family master felt like he was struck by lightning. His body shook and he was lifted into the air. Su Yan's tongue was like thunder, suppressing the entire area. The entire Dao battle platform was covered in golden ripples. They combined together and turned into a giant golden mountain that pressed down. I am invincible. The Han family master was infuriated, and he spat out a mouthful of snow-white smoke. The moment he pulled it out, he slashed forward. It was like he was waving out a Milky Way. Within it, the sun, moon, and stars were birthed as it slashed towards Su Yan. I will shout that you are invincible when you go back to your hometown. Su Yan's eyes shone with an ominous glint as he decisively pulled out the sky-chopping sword. Once this sword was pulled out, the sky-chopping sword aura soared into the sky, one after another. Every sword aura gave birth to a sky-chopping aura that could penetrate the heavens and the earth. Kung. The two eye-catching sword embryos clashed together. Sparks flew and the bright sword light tore through the sky. The moment the killing swords flew through the air, the battle became even more dangerous and brutal. The two experts waved their sword embryos and started to fight. The sword light in the area was endless. Be it the heaven-slaying sword or the sun-moon-star sword, they were all rare treasures. The clashing of the killing swords was enough to tear one's eardrums. Slash. The Han family master roared and waved a killing technique. The killing sword shot out tens of thousands of feet of sword light. It was bright and dazzling, making many of the spectators panic. They all felt that this sword was going to split the sky into two. However, another sword light rose up and covered the sky. It made the people around feel like they had fallen into an ice cave. Their heads were about to roll off the ground. Hong! The two killing swords charged up to their peak and clashed together. The final outcome was terrifying. The sun-moon-star sword was directly split into two. Su Yan's heaven-slaying sword was even stronger. It looked like it was about to split the Han family master in half. There were ancestral hall experts here too. They were so furious that they were about to explode. The sky-severing sword was the murderous weapon of the ancestral hall. It was even refined from the heavenly refining furnace. This treasure was indestructible and was the rough embryo of a supreme treasure. Now that this treasure was in Su Yan's possession, it shone brilliantly. Luckily, at the crucial moment, the Han family master's sun-moon-star armor shone and blocked the heaven-slaying sword's light. Hong! At the same time, the Han family master punched and exploded with his strongest strength. He hammered Su Yan's chest. However, Su Yan was so strong. Even now, he was still fighting Su Yan with his physical body. When a fist was about to hit him, Su Yan's expression changed. Su Yan's fleshly shell had simply transformed into a magnificent star in the universe, and it was filled with a peerless aura that was heavy to the point of pressing down on all eternity as it charged forward. Ah! The Han family master screamed. His fist was directly smashed into pieces by Su Yan's fist. His entire arm exploded. Su Yan used the Sun-Moon River Mountain painting to suppress the Sun-Moon-Star armor's power. He heavily injured the Han family master. His entire broken arm was ripped off by Su Yan. What a bloody scene! Cultivators of the same generation were terrified. This was the Han family master. In just one move, his arm was ripped off by Su Yan. Damn, I don't believe that I can't suppress you. The Han family master hollered in rage. His entire body spat out boundless ripples that rippled on the Dao battle platform. He wanted to use his aura to gather the void runes to suppress Su Yan. You are still laying out the formation. Don't take out these damn runes to embarrass yourself. Su Yan slapped forwards and crushed the sky full of runes. The Han family master was hit so hard that blood spurted out from his nose and mouth. Half of his face caved in and he spat out all his teeth. He was in a really pitiful state. However, Su Yan's words made the Han family master feel even more despair. It totally crushed his confidence and dignity.